flat earth and other hot potatoes. This message is gonna change.
The time has come to end the deception, to turn off the TV and get new reception. It's deeper than your average conspiracy. It comes down to your ability to think and see clearly. NASA's rockets go up, then they come back down. They show us CGI pictures, we pass them around. We were all told we lived on a ball, that we were just an accident. Didn't matter at all. The oligarchs use hoaxes to control. Their agenda is pushed with our demise as their goal. You say, I play by the rules, so you're not excited? But if you didn't get your ticket to the bunker yet, you're not invited. To the elite, you're just like the animal that arrives on the plate. The one that was killed, the one that you ate. So it's time to learn to think in a new way. That's why you need to turn on and tune in today.
This message is gonna change.
Turn on and tune in today.
This message is gonna...
Welcome to Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, episode 80. I'm Mark Sargent, and soon to join us will be your beautiful host, Patricia Steere.
Hey, thank you. That's a nice compliment.
Well,
I'll pay you later. Episode 80. Wow. 80 miles per hour. Do you know what states have that as a speed limit on the highway?
Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, parts of South Dakota, and I don't know other places after that.
Mm. So the reason for speed limits, they say, was safety and
gas mileage.
Gas mileage.
Yeah. And you know, people, you remember the Sammy Hagar song, I Can't Drive 55.
Right.
When that came out in the 80s, when truckers were the real ones that hated it because, you know, the for them it's just one long straight shot most of the time.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking.
Gold Star, for anyone who can know what movie reference. She doesn't throw out a lot of movie references, so you guys better catch that one.
But the thing about speed limits is it's just really a way for them to get money from us. So,
yeah.
I mean, if they really cared about our safety, there would be a lot of other things happening in our world, including the pharmaceutical industry not existing, vaccines not happening, et cetera. etc. So.
Speaking of vaccines, you probably caught the De Niro thing.
Yes, exactly. Why don't you explain it? Because you did an interview. Was it yesterday or the day before? I lose track of all your many interviews.
I don't remember. Was that yesterday?
I don't know. The days all blend together.
No, it was Sunday because I did an interview Easter Sunday. And
it was on Flat Earth, of course, but yet you did talk about vaccines. And you talked about De Niro.
He was, well, because I had just caught it before the interview came out, or before I did the interview, where I just caught the story where Robert De Niro, kind of like there's a Sundance Film Festival, he hosts one called the Tribeca Film Festival, and I can't remember where it is. I think that's in New York, right? Tribeca, New York.
It is, yes.
And he was going to air a film that went against vaccines called something about the Vax, V-A-X, which is actually a very clever term. I can't remember the exact name of the film, but he was going to air it. And he was going to catch everyone knew he was going to catch some flack for it because he has an 18-year-old autistic son. Mm. And, you know, like all autistic parents, you want to know the why, you know, that's all this question that comes up. So this was going to be a controversial documentary film. And then all of a sudden, you know, within a day after the original story aired, where it's like, oh yeah, he's going to talk about this, all of a sudden he's pulling it. And it didn't take, you know, much to figure out what happened there. You know, it was some heavy-handed play. You know, when here, you know, the pharmaceutical companies, probably a representative probably went to him and said, "Look, you could be actionable if you release this. You know, we're going after the producers. We're doing, but you are way too high profile to do this. No different than." And people think I'm kidding. No different. Look up the story you probably remember from several years ago when Oprah went on her show and said you shouldn't eat hamburgers anymore. Mm-hmm. And the beef industry went straight at her and says, you will retract this and you will never bring this up again, or we will sue you into the ground. And we have more money than you do. And you know, same thing. I mean, yeah, Robert De Niro, a wealthy, Hall of Fame actor, no question.
Yeah, he's beyond A-list.
Yeah, he's beyond A-list. You know, he's going to go down as a legend. And that shows you what sort of power he was up against, where it's like, yeah, it wasn't even, he couldn't make a statement against it. He couldn't say, I protest. Like, no. It was like off the table. And it was so personal to him. His son is autistic and he still backed down. So I felt bad because it shows you, the powers that be, what they can do if they decide to use it.
Well, it's not going to be at the Tribeca Film Festival, but will it be viewable anywhere else? I imagine eventually.
Oh yeah,
yes.
yeah. You'll be able to watch it. You'll be able to get copies. I mean, it's the internet.
Exactly. What am I saying?
Their documentaries, worst documentaries, have gone down there. I mean, look at and then they'll have to do some damage control after the fact. In fact, it's probably going to not help their cause much. The pharmaceuticals. Because when the publicity of this will make people want to watch it more.
Yeah, in a way, that's kind of true.
I mean, I want to. I'm going to watch it.
So
now.
do I.
Absolutely.
You know what? If that hadn't happened, the Tribeca Film Festival and De Niro being forced to pull the film, we might not ever have heard of the film.
Yeah. So. In fact, it'll probably develop cult status now because it was pulled. Well, if it's not pulled, then what? It becomes a Michael Moore movie. Basically.
And so in a way the film itself becomes a martyr.
Yeah. So if the film guys are out there listening, you guys are doing just fine. Don't worry about I know you're probably really, really angry about the De Niro thing. But
they thought they were doing the devil's work, but instead they're doing the work of the good people of the earth. So
there you go. Anyway, so
well, hey, like I said, episode number 80, it's Patricia Steere and Mark Sargent. I am Mark Sargent, and that is Patricia Steere, just in case you were a bit confused on that. We have a bunch of emails to get to. More came in. I read every single email I had received in the past month, I guess, last episode, because Q&A wasn't working. But I see Q&A is working today, and there are some questions already piling up. So what should we tackle first? Maybe some events that are going on in the flat Earth community.
Sure.
Loosely knit community, such as it may be, or however that expression goes. Such as the case may be. That's what I meant to say. I better put my glasses on because it just makes me smarter. Go ahead.
It does.
Maybe I need 2 pairs.
Go ahead. Holy smokes. You seem so much more intelligent now.
I know.
That's why girls wear glasses.
In fact, I'm stepping out of flat Earth right now. A lot smarter.
That's what happens in movies all the time too. Is the girl, when she wants to disguise herself as a nerd and tries to fit in with the brainy types, that's the first thing, always puts on the glasses.
Right. And when they want to be sexy, they take their glasses off and then they take their hair out of a bun. Oh, and by the way, what I just meant is, if I were smarter, I'd get out of flat Earth. I don't mean anything weird and strange that you need to read into. What I meant is that, as we all know, when you're involved in the flat Earth community, you face a lot of issues occasionally with resistance, people being, the way they are. That's all I meant.
I'm going to be facing some resistance. There's my little segue there.
Oh, good.
I like that. I could be on TV local news.
Yeah.
By the way, I
tried.
I tried 3 household items that could kill you dead in your sleep after weather and sports. No. I tried to.
Mass resistance.
What? No. Well, yeah, resistance. But I'll get to that in a second. Remind me.
Resistance is futile.
No, not the Borg thing. Remember how Conan O'Brien was the one that figured out that all local news got their feeds through Associated Press, and they would read, so even the local stories, spring still, the spring season still has some jump in its step or whatever it is. And I tried to download one of those and include it as one of the intros to my Strange World. And I got copyrighted for it, which was interesting because it had nothing to do with Conan. Conan wasn't anywhere in there, but because they're all NBC affiliates, he copyrighted those segments. And so I could not even use those segments, which was really, really strange. I thought, I was like, really? It wasn't
People
even
wonder about copyrights and copyright strikes. If you aren't monetizing your channel, you can use and all they'll do is give you a little email that says, hey, we're going to monetize this. You're not going to get the money.
Yeah.
Whoever's material is going to get the money.
Or unless the copyright thing doesn't even want it monetized, they're not even going to allow you. So so if I've never even turned on the monetization on my channel, so I can get away with some things that other people can't. So they'll either send me a notice saying, oh yeah, monetized by the claimant, which means they're going to monetize it. You can't monetize it. Or they will say blocked, which means either blocked in certain number of countries or blocked.
Germany.
Well, yeah, Germany. I always get for the Joe Jackson stepping out from his album Night and Day, and
From the 80s.
From the 80s.
I only say that, and he only says that if you don't watch his Strange World show. Every time that song is played after coming back from a commercial break, he always says, "That's Joe Jackson stepping out."
And I know I feel bad because I can't show the Strange World episodes in Germany, but
Take the Joe Jackson song out.
No, I'm not going to take the Joe. It's a great running gag.
Song.
It's a great song. But they will also say blocked worldwide. And that's and so when I got the Conan O'Brien thing, it said blocked worldwide, which means no one's going to ever see it. So it's like, okay, I had to rip it out and then re-upload it. And so nowadays what I'll do is I'll upload the whole thing and then I won't even say publish until I see if anything comes up, because it's just irritating to publish it. And then people send me emails. It's like, I can't watch it. What happened? Are you being blocked? So
occasionally you and I, or, since I'm kind of the controller of this show, I open up with a song that has something to do with what we're saying that isn't a song that I have had created for me.
Yeah.
And I've got the same thing. Song gets monetized. The show gets monetized by whoever created the song, which is completely only fair, actually.
The Resistance, I'm sorry, was
back to Max Resistance.
The first one's going to be from Max Egan.
Oh, can I totally interrupt you?
You mean like just now?
Like I just did. I do want to say that. Just totally lost what I was going to say. Wait.
Max Egan is going to
Max Egan.
Is going to be a
Brian. I got it. Brian McCarthy is the person who created the song that opened the show today. I wanted to give him credit, and now, please continue. Right. Sorry.
Max Egan, a known conspiracy.
No, just joking.
Max Egan is a known conspiracy guy, and he's been focusing a lot of things in the Middle East, and he's never been on board with the flat Earth at all. And some of us have been reaching out to him to get into a discussion. And so this Thursday, I believe at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern time, we are going to have a discussion with Max Egan. And so I think it's going to be on Globebusters. So it's going to be Jaron and Bob and David Weiss and myself speaking with Max Egan. He wants to get some things off his chest, and he wants to explore the whole flat Earth concept and why he thinks it's a distraction and possibly a psyop and all these other fun things. He's just not on board yet. And I get it. I totally get it. But whether or not we're going to be able to convince him of anything, who knows? If he wants to just get off it, maybe, who knows? Maybe he just publicly wants to come out and say, you know what? All right, I've talked about flat Earth, and I don't ever have to talk about it again, which is fine.
You don't know if he really wants to actually explore it. He's maybe doing it to placate those who are pushing him to look into flat Earth.
Well, and that happens.
He's got a good group of people to talk to. That's for sure.
Yeah, and there's a lot of people that do that with just about every host. I mean, most of the interviews that I've done over the last year started with a bunch of people emailing them and saying, "You ought to talk about this, and here's the guy you should talk about it with," or like remember, was it More Mythical Morning or Good Mythical Morning?
Good Mythical Morning.
Yeah, Good Mythical Morning. I mean, they got 9 million subscribers on YouTube. They're pretty big. You get enough emails, you have to address it sooner or later, just to get rid of the people that are emailing you and tweeting you. That way you say, okay, we did a show on flat Earth. You don't have to talk about it anymore.
Is it true though, when enough people want you to address something, that you need to do a show on it? Because a couple people have emailed me to find out if I'm a reptilian or not. So do I need to do a whole show on whether or not I'm a shape-shifting reptilian?
It's strange because it's different with flat Earth. In fact, Jaron and I were talking about that today, where Jaron was saying, if people emailed me about doing a show on the Gaza Strip or anything that's going on in the Middle East, would I do a show on it? No, I wouldn't. I would refer it to other people. But with flat Earth, it's different because it seems like it's so new and novel to a lot of conspiracy people that they've got to do a show on it, because the people they're asking, they're saying, don't just address it, do a show on it. So why not? So cool. I hope that Max sticks with it. You never know, he could end up like Santos before it's over.
Mm-hmm.
Or
Yeah.
he could just do a show and yell and rant, and then just, who knows? I don't know how long it'll last on Thursday. I'm going to try to be as civil as possible because he singled me out during his off-air rant, saying that he could not trust me as far as he could throw an aircraft carrier. Something that I agree. So
he also mentioned Jaron, and he said that Jaron's not a bad guy. So I guess that's sort of okay. Statement.
He's going to be on the show with Jaron, so great. And if he doesn't want to talk to me, it doesn't really matter. This thing's happening with or without him.
Mm-hmm.
So
I like a lot of things about Max Egan, and I used to be a subscriber pre-Flat Earth, and I would have continued to be a subscriber even if he was not investigating Flat Earth. But when he started speaking out so vehemently against Flat Earth, I unsubscribed. I'm very open-minded to people who potentially could become Flat Earthers, always wanting to talk to them, extend a hand, friendship, because you never know when somebody might cross over, and you want to be welcoming for when that happens. But
and you're more politically correct than I am. In my case, I don't like people with lack of imagination. And if you're thinking small, if you can't, and I know it's easy for me to say that because I've got a large cranium, but like Jeffrey Grubb, size 8 hat. Big head.
You do have a big head. I mean that like physically. I do. Mean you're egotistical. In fact, you're the least egotistical person that I've met, or one of the least.
Well,
but you do have a large head.
I do have a large head. It's big. There was Tony Bennett, or no, Martin Short did a little commercial. I'm gonna have to find it, where he said he was the easiest. The people in Hollywood, the way to make it is make sure you have a big head, and by it he meant big head compared to their body.
It's true.
It's true.
When you look at celebrities, both male and female, oftentimes their head is quite huge and their body is quite slender and small.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Jay Leno's head, big. Oprah's head, big. Chevy Chase head, big head. Anyway, but he said that he was imitating it. He was Martin Short imitating Tony Bennett singing his song about big heads and how to make it in Hollywood. I'm gonna have to find it. It's a great.
That almost sounds like you're making that up.
I'm not making that. Making that up would be like what was that thing you did the other day where you did? Yeah, you explained how Flat Earth wasn't a cult on your show, and then John LeBon does a rebuttal saying how you're wrong and goes over your points, and then Globebusters does something against John LeBon, who had gone. I mean, this chain reaction.
Yeah, with me on it and John LeBon, and then people thought I was on Globebusters and that I was on John LeBon's show. A lot of confusion came out of that, but it was cool, interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, Max Egan's going to be doing this. I hope we'll see. But again, he's thinking small, and that is he's like the Middle East is the most important conspiracy threat in the world. I'm going. How could you even begin to say that? I mean, Flat Earth, and I don't want to use, I'm going to have to come up with a different term than Trump because God help us, that whole thing with the election. But it's true. Flat Earth, it's rock, paper, scissors, Flat Earth. Everything else gets just crushed by it.
And that doesn't mean we don't care about atrocities happening in the Middle East. It doesn't mean that we are, go Israel, go kill people. No, it's not. No, but not at all.
I'm going to tell him. I'm going to ask him and see what his response is, which is, how do you qualify what the most important conspiracy is? Do you qualify it by body count? Do you qualify it by how much money is spent? In my case, I qualify it by the sheer size, and the how the world is shaped, I think, is bigger than what's happening in the Middle East. But that's just me.
It sounds superficial when you say it that way, but what we mean by that is all these other things that are happening, all the atrocities, all the ways money is being stolen and people are being lied to, it's all happening on Flat Earth. And maybe if we could get people's heads around Flat Earth, we could get them to see that we really are, I hate to say as one, but it's because it sounds cheesy, but we are as one.
Before you bring up Rob on real quick.
Rob Skiba is in the on deck circle, I think it's called.
What I mean, and I don't mean to insult Max Egan when I say this.
No, not at all.
Which is, how do you? I mean, yes, there are some conspiracies out there which bring out a lot more outrage. But how can you quantify outrage? There is no scale for outrage. So you have to break it down into something. I hate to use the term scientific, but it's either body count, money, or physical size. In my opinion. If there's something else, I'd love to hear it.
Well, all of the things that have happened on flat Earth, we're being told there's a globe. Tons of people have died because of it. I mean, if
Well,
you really
sure.
think about it, all this money has been spent. NASA's lying to us and stealing our money,
Exactly.
and all of this is happening, and all of us flat Earthers, although I'm pleasant and smile, I'm mad. We're all mad. We're
And you're
all
not that
really
pleasant.
infuriated. However, we're taking the anger that we have and trying to, what I'm trying to do is just get more people to look at flat Earth,
Yeah.
and kind of bring the community together and introduce people to new flat Earthers. So we don't need to introduce this man to anyone, really. Rob Skiva is here. Testing the Globe is his website, and he's got a show on TFR, and he does videos on his channel. And you recently did a debate with Zach Bauer, a flat Earth debate. That is on your channel. But one of your most recent videos is about the Southern Flights. And Rob Skiva, thank you for popping in on the show today.
Hey, Patricia. Hey, Mark. How you guys doing?
Hey.
Thanks for having me.
You know what's weird? In the video that we're discussing called Southern Flight's No Longer a Problem, which you put out on March 23rd, it looks like, your microphone wasn't plugged in, which happens to me a lot too, and it doesn't sound like it is now either.
You know what? It may not be.
Just want to let you know.
Hang on just a second.
It happens to me all the time. Or not all the time, but pretty frequently. It just unplugs itself. Because it sounds fine, we can hear you, but it sounds hollow. It's not that important, but that's not the case.
How's that? Is that any better?
That's it.
Ooh, perfect.
That is the one. I am knowing how to do it now.
What kind of accent is that?
That's Indian.
I don't know.
It did sound a little Indian.
May the
actually.
fleas of 1,000 camels infest your armpits.
I'm standing here behind myself.
Okay. On that note, let's talk about world travel. Not specifically India, but you in this video were reinvestigating the Gleason's map, and everyone's saying, not everyone, many people are saying the Gleason's map, throw it in the garbage. The AE map, azimuthal equidistant map, a mouthful, isn't it? But you were talking about plane routes, and I just wanted to bring you on to briefly discuss that. And if after you put this video out, you've had other thoughts, where are you on this, Rob?
Okay.
The map.
The map. Yeah. Well, first thing I did was I went out and printed it. Made a nice poster out of it. Because I've seen this image all over the internet, and I've actually referenced it a number of times, even in my blogs and stuff like that. And I've seen that they had a high-resolution file available online that you could download. And so, and I've had it. I played around with it in the computer, but it's kind of hard when you're messing around with it on the computer. I just need to have it like in my hands so I can just stare at it and look at it. And so that's what I did. I went to Office Max. Cost me about $18 to get it printed up on some cheap paper and have it laminated. And I wanted to have it laminated so I could draw on it, with markers if I needed to and erase it. And then as I was just staring at this thing, first thing that caught my eye was this little measuring like ruler kind of thing right here. And it's if you can see it, it's cut off right there. So it doesn't. At one time it went all the way across, and there was actually two of them, so you could use it for measuring. And the other thing that caught my attention was the numbers in the red circle all the way around. This is a timekeeping map. It's two things. I think the purpose of this map is to show time and to show azimuth. Of course, that's what it's called, the azimuthal equidistant map. And so as I'm looking at that, I'm going, well, the azimuth is pretty obvious. It's a projection off the North Pole. So you got the north right here, and all the lines coming off it are the azimuth directions to the various continents. So that was pretty easy. But then all of a sudden, it wasn't until I looked at the ruler here. I don't know if you could see it in the camera there, but it's got like black and white markers. So those are some sort of distant markers. And all I did in the computer, and I'm actually going to bring it up on the computer file here. I'll do a screen share, make it a little easier to talk about it here. Screen 2, bing, and can you see that? Can you see the Earth?
Yes.
Do you see this? You can?
Yes.
Okay, cool. Let me see if I can zoom in a little bit here. What I did was I put in a red circle and orange. See this red circle going on right here? That's the equator. It's black. All the lines on the map are black, and so I wanted to differentiate the latitude and longitudinal lines from the lines of the sun. the orange line you can kind of see going around right here, which is pretty close to where this ruler gets torn off right here, is right at the Tropic of Cancer. So I put an orange line on there to show the Tropic of Cancer, a red line for the equator, and another orange line for the Tropic of Capricorn. So that way I could differentiate, what lines represented what. And when I went ahead and made, I just sampled in the computer, I copied this ruler right here, this black, white, black, white, black, right, and so that I made my first line right here to go all the way down to the end, so it's consistent. And that's when I realized, whoa, that's what the equidistant means. It means on the outer circle here, you can see the same black, white. You got a white bar right here, a black bar, and a white bar. So on the outer rim, you got the same measuring tool. So if you extend this line right here from the black bar, where the white goes to the black, all the way to the center, and it's same with this line right here, all the way to the center, then all of those lines are going to be equidistant with this. It's a scaling issue. And then I did the same thing with this. So this is going all the way down to here. And to make it easier on the eyes to explain it, I went ahead and color-coded the grids, so you can kind of see each grid. Every square, if I can use that term, it's not really a square, but you get the picture. Every square grid, from the smallest one to the biggest one, are equidistant, meaning each one represents the same amount of distance. And that's when it all clicked to me. I'm like, oh, okay, well then that makes a lot of sense, because let me do a free transform tool here.
Well, the Gleason's map itself says on it that it is scientifically and practically accurate as is.
Right, that's right at the top. That's
there we go.
Scientifically and practically correct as it is.
And not that anything we read is correct. That's how we got in the trouble we are in now. But interesting, nonetheless.
I still think this is a projection off of a globe. It's still a squashed globe, as a number of people have, of course, pointed out in the comments on if you go to that YouTube video and just read through the comments, people are like, yeah, you're an idiot. All you did is just prove this represents the globe. Well, yeah, okay, I get that. Because, for this wide distance way down here on the outer rim to be equal to this distance up here, the only way that's going to work is if it's a ball. Unless you got some kind of strange, time warp, thing going on out here that you don't have going on in here. But here's the point. Here's the big issue. I think a lot of us, I know I certainly was, and I believe Tiger Dan was, and I've seen a number of other flat Earth researchers out there, have been thinking, okay, when it says as it is, this is what the circle of the Earth actually looks like. This is a true representation of the circle of the Earth. And so when they proceeded with that assumption, they would look at the flight paths, like, let's say, from Florida to the UK, and they would draw a line through here saying, okay, so that's the distance. We know it takes X amount of hours, and it's X distance across. And so they were saying, if that's the scale of distance right there from Florida to the UK, then they were trying to apply that same logic to this long haul distance right here. And when we did that, I know this is what I did when I looked at that and going, well, shoot, I mean, some of the flights that we see that we know the distances, we know the times, let's say they're 14 or 15 hours. If we applied the same logic to that flight path that's like 14 hours in the inner circle here to the outer circle, it'd be almost 3 times that. 2 or 3 times. I mean, you'd be thinking it's like 35 hours to go from Santiago to Sydney. But that's when I realized, oh, no, that's not, we're thinking about it wrong. If it's an equidistant map, and then when I plotted out the squares right here, and then I did this route that you see that's pretty close, this purple arrow right here is pretty close to the route that allegedly goes under the ball that I've seen people send me. Well, the calculation as far as the time is almost identical, the time and distance. It's like 14 hours and 15 minutes, give or take. So I didn't have a lot of time, and I was just I'm like, oh, I had this thought, I got to get the video out. That's why I didn't pay attention to the settings of my microphone or anything, just, whipped it out real quick. My hope was that it would clear some issues up for some of the people who are stuck on this map and trying to figure out flight times based on this map. And, it would just give us all kind of a chance to reset kind of take a step back and reevaluate some of the things that we had thought prior. And here's what I'm thinking now. It's like, okay, if the azimuthal part of this map is correct, then we know the direction each of the continents are from the North Pole, which means this layout, it has to be generally correct, assuming we are on the circle of the Earth as the Bible says. If it is a circle, then the azimuthal lines have to be correct. The problem is the distortion of the size of the continents on this projection, which is based on a ball. So you'd basically have to unproject them from the ball to be more accurate for the circle of the Earth, but still keep the same azimuths. And I don't know if that's possible. I haven't had the time to try it out myself, but I think the main issue with this was correcting wrong preconceived notions, if that makes sense.
And the preconceived notions were that this is a real map, and what you're saying is that it's a kind of a clue in a way. It's a timekeeping device. And a squished down globe.
And that the distortion that we initially thought was out there on the outer edges is not really, it's not there from a distance standpoint because it's all equal. It all equals itself out. So the super long distances that we initially thought aren't there. Right?
Correct. Yes, yeah. Correct.
Yeah.
All right. Interesting. I wanted to talk to you about it because there's a lot of people talking about maps and people coming up with a lot of different ways to solve the problem. Rob, do you think we're ever going to come up with a true map that works completely of Earth?
If we are, it's going to take a little while, probably, because we've had at least 500 years of indoctrination on the ball, and all the maps that we've seen, including this one, are projections from the ball. So, you know, with that in mind, I mean, if we are to proceed in trying to prove that there is a circle of the Earth and that it is a plane, then there's a lot of things we're going to have to toss out, and there's a lot of new stuff that we're going to have to figure out. You know, my hope in creating this was that, you know, this would become a tool. Maybe I should just produce or publish the PSD file, the Photoshop file here, because I have it all in layers.
That's a good idea.
You see how I'm able to move.
Oh yeah.
So, you know, people can play around with it, and, you know, I created a bunch of layers and stuff that you can turn on or turn off, and manipulate like that. See, I can turn all that off if I want to. Here's the basic map. Then I can show the sun paths, and, you know.
That's great.
With that. So, you know, maybe I'll just make this available on my website, put the link to the PSD file, and then people can take it from there. It's so frustrating because I don't have time, man. I'm like,
you're doing all sorts of live engagements. I've seen those on your channel.
Yeah, it's crazy. I've been doing a lot of traveling. Let me see if I can get undo
Have
this.
you seen the curve from an airplane window yet? Just wondering.
No, I have never seen the curve. Although, I shot so much footage. I went to see my family in Florida 2 weeks ago, and spent the week out there, and had several opportunities to go to the beach. And of course, on the flight out there, you know, I'm sitting there, and it was the flight back. On the flight out, I had aisle seats, so I couldn't see much. But on the return,
I hate aisle seats now.
Yeah, now I do. Usually that's my preference. Now I'm like, I want to sit in the window so I can look at stuff, you know. So on the flight back, I had a window seat on the left side of the plane, and just after the wing. So, and you know, the wing swoops backwards, so really the tip of the wing was almost right out my window as I was looking out, you know, and then I looked back at the window behind me, and something jumped out at me. There's actually 3 windows there. There's the inner window right next to you in the crew compartment. Then there's another window, and then, you know, about a quarter of an inch beyond that is the outside window. So there's actually.
I always noticed 2. I didn't know there were 3.
At least I was on a Spirit airline flight. I don't recall the nomenclature of the aircraft specifically that I was on, but on that particular aircraft, there was actually 3 panes of plastic for the window. And when I was looking back, you know, at an angle through the window behind me, while we were still on the flight line had all these, you know, straight line markers, you know, on the ground. But when I'm looking at the window, the edges of the window were curving those straight lines that, you know, there are straight lines down. it's actually curving them down. So I'm looking at the straight lines on the ground going, huh, well, right there, it's showing me this window is distorting. I mean, those are straight lines on the ground, but toward the edges of the window frame, they're bending down. So that was the first thing I noticed. And the second thing I noticed is as the plane was taking off, and I just kept, the plane shaking and everything, so you're trying to hold my iPhone as best as I could at takeoff. But that horizon never changed. I mean, it just right up with us the whole time, 37,000 feet. There it was, right out the window. It was a very hazy flight over the Gulf of Mexico all the way back to Dallas. So, my window was all water, pretty much the entire flight. But you didn't have to look out too far, and it all just kind of blends into blurry white and blue shades. So you couldn't see a hard horizon out there. But I have seen hard horizons out there at that height before, and it's flat. It's totally flat. And while I was at the beach, several times I had some opportunity to finally play with my Coolpix 900, the Coolpix P900. That camera is awesome. So I'm out there with this camera on the beach, and I think it was the second to the last night we were there. We went out to eat at this restaurant that was like right on the water, and there was a stone wall that prevented the water from going over, at high tide or whatever. But for the most part, you're pretty much right there at sea level when you're standing there. And there were ships that, as the sun's going down, everybody goes there to watch the sunset. As the sun's going down, all these fishing boats start heading out to go fishing. I guess that's a good time to go fishing or whatever. And if you look on Google Earth, you can actually see the channels that they're following. They had these posts, these marker posts that they're going literally like right down this alley of posts. All the ships were going out between this alley of posts. And if you look on Google Earth, you can see like a channel that has been apparently carved into the ground underwater there that they're following out to about 4 miles. If you take the Google Earth measuring ruler, they go out to the channel ends at about 3 miles and change, and you see that there's a drop off where the shallow water drops off and it gets deeper at right about the 4 mile mark. So I know my distance now, and I know I can watch the ships, and I'm watching them all go out. So the whole time, and I had what I thought was the perfect straight shot of them literally starting right next to me and heading out into the sunset. And then all these families started like walking in front of me and wanting to get pictures in front of the sunset. I'm like, this is like my perfect shot, of steady going all the way out. So, I was a little bit frustrated by that, but I finally managed to relocate and get a spot where I could. But by then the ships were already out beyond the 3 mile mark. Of course. So I didn't get that consistent straight shot that I really wanted. But what I did see, and I've noticed this on reservoirs too, is that, and I know a lot of people out there have done videos on perspective lines and how the ground rises to your eye and the sky drops, to converge. That convergence point appears to happen at about the 3 mile mark, or thereabouts. Because that's when you see this hard line. You see all the waves and all the detail in the water, and then there's this hard line. And you can see the waves, but it's a hard line right there. And when the ships got to that line, they didn't start disappearing hull first or at all. They just started flying off into space. That's what it looks like. Yeah. They went right past that hard line, going this way. So going right past the hard line, and then it literally looks like, because it's a hard line, and then beyond that, it's just kind of like the same color as the sky. Yeah. Which at that time was the color, orangish sunset. They start floating up into the sky, but you can tell they're still on water because you can see the reflection of the ship on the water. And I can see them go all the way out until they eventually, it gets really distorted at this point. You do run into mirage issues, but I mean, you can watch them flying off into the sky, reflecting on the water until they eventually morph into this blob that you can't really make any details out in it. But that's easily out to 4 miles, if not a little bit past that. Never did I see anything disappear to the camera's eye. To my eye, regular eye, sure, you can imagine the illusion of the hull disappearing first, but not through the camera. Okay. No.
Well, thank you for coming on and talking to us about that, Rob. You're going to put a link to what you've just shown us on testingtheglobe.com sometime soon?
Yeah, I'll make a note about it. I'll post on Facebook or whatever. And
sorry to force you now. Adding more work to your list.
That's a great idea, though, putting the PDF file out there so people can mess with it. That's awesome.
Yeah, I'll do that. One more thing, if we got a minute, do we have a chance to?
Oh, sure.
Man, this rabbit hole just gets deeper and deeper. Okay, let me get the screen share going again. The sun is the other big issue for me. I've maintained that I'm a 8 out of 10 on the scale of 1 to 10. 10 being a hardcore flat earther and 1 being a hardcore global person. I've been an 8, and the two big things that have been holding me back are the flight paths issue, the time and distance, which I don't know what I solved exactly with this map, but it's got me thinking a little bit more that there may be a real solution to it. And the other one is the 24-hour sun that allegedly is seen, was in December, I think, in Antarctica. Well, let me pop up Google Earth here and do a screen share. Okay, can you see this? Can you see Google Earth on the screen?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this is Tierra del Fuego, the southern tip of South America.
Okay.
And so this guy contacts me, says that he lived somewhere in here for a number of months at the southern tip of South America, right? So, and this little southern tip comes out right here and is kind of mirrors this tip right here of Antarctica. Now, everybody who's saying they're seeing the 24-hour sun in Antarctica are doing so from the, I believe it's right here, the Ross Ice Shelf. Is this the Ross Ice Shelf? I think it's somewhere in here that they claim to be seeing that 24-hour sun deal. If it's not here, it's here, but I want to say it's here. In either case, it's on the inner part. You know how we have all these large portions of Antarctica, but we have a couple of dip ins right here and right here. I'm pretty sure it's this one. If not, it's this one, but it's on the dip part that the video was allegedly shot showing the sun going around for 24 hours. And yet a guy tells me he lived down here, and he said, we've never seen the 24-hour sun. Never. So at this point, we've got two conflicting testimonies, neither of which I can confirm because I don't know either of these people. But I've got one guy saying he lived there, and he's saying, nope, never seen it before. And then we've got the video floating around from the guys supposedly down here shooting the sun going all the way around us. Okay, well, I mean, until I actually go down there for myself or personally know somebody, and they go down there, and somebody that I know, love, and trust tells me either way, it's a 50-50. But here's what caught my attention. NASA actually has some patents out there for artificial suns and simulated space environments. Here's the first one. Means for simulating certain environmental conditions of outer space. And this was filing date 1960. Okay, so when you start looking through this, they've got all these plans to simulate chambers and, I guess presumably zero G and whatnot, trying to simulate space for these astronauts to be, practicing or hoaxing. Either way would theoretically work. Here's another patent right here, space chambers. This was also filed in October 1960, another kind of variant on that, I suppose. Another space simulator here in 1961. So they were real big on trying to fake space early on in the 1960s. That's number one. Then you start looking for levitation and various patents for levitation. And I believe Tiger Dan actually did one a while back showing levitation and how they could just be in a chamber. We keep talking about the International Space Station, what's going on there. And obviously some of that stuff could be done in the zero-G planes. Sure. But there's plenty of other things that are much longer shots that have been taking place that really don't work for the zero-G plane argument. However, if they've had 50 years to be playing around with this, if they've these patents were filed in the 60s, for crying out loud, they at least figured it out in terms of writing it down mathematically and figuring out the physics of it.
Oh yeah.
So, the idea that all the stuff we've been seeing could be taking place in one of these patented space chambers is more than plausible. In fact, quite likely that could happen.
Yeah, if you have an unlimited budget and some of the best minds out there, what can't you do?
Exactly. Well, what was it? The Apollo program, I think, had something like a 16 or 26, I forget the number, $1 billion budget back in the 1960s.
Yeah.
I mean,
Well, people always say that it's such a small percentage of the yearly budget goes to NASA, but they're not looking at the big picture.
Yeah.
well, it may be a tiny portion of the trillions, but still, when we're talking tens of billions, I mean, watch the movie Gravity. Look at what they were able to achieve to what was a $150 million budget, something like that. You know, I mean, and I saw that in 3D IMAX. I felt like I was with Sandra Bullock out there floating around. You know.
Oh yeah, it was gorgeous. It was gorgeous. It was definitely state of the art. But was it? You know, is there stuff even better than that out there?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So that's the first thing we should, certainly be looking into more. And I'm putting out. I'm sure other people have maybe come up with this before, but for those of you who never heard it before, I'll send you guys the links too, so you guys can play around with it as well. Look through it and stuff. But here's something that just recently fell on my plate. I've got people, I'm sure you guys do too, calling me all the time or sending me emails or whatever, saying, "Hey, have you heard about this, or have you checked this out?" Well, somebody put out a video today. March 28th. Artificial fake sun patented by NASA. It's got
What?
618 views. So this was just put out.
I have seriously heard it all now.
Yeah. Okay, this is a guy named Dill Martin, D-I-L-L Martin, published today. Artificial fake sun patented by NASA. It's got a whole bunch of stuff here, in the descriptions. And of course, when I did that, I saw some other ones in the suggested video column here that I clicked on. This one here, we may have an artificial sun in our sky patent since 1961, and this person put the links to the various patents for a fake sun that go back to the 1950s and 60s. So, with that in mind,
people have said, I've heard them say that the sun looks different than when they were a child.
Well, yeah, or that we've seen so-called sun dogs or two suns.
Mm-hmm.
All these people saying there's two suns in the sky. We got the Luke Skywalker looking out, on Tatooine.
Yep, nice reference.
Yeah, so you've got those reports, but then we also have two conflicting reports in the southern so-called hemisphere. We got one person who, as far as I could tell, has no dog in this hunt, is just giving me information. Said, "Hey, I lived here and we never saw any 24-hour sun." And then we have this other report saying, yeah, there is a 24-hour sun. In fact, we recorded it in time lapse. Here it is. What if, we got a patent, 1963, solar simulator, 1963. It's showing how you can fake the sun. Another illumination system, including a virtual light source, 1961. They got descriptions here. So, what if, now again, I'm proceeding with the premise that we could very well be on a circular, still flat Earth set on pillars, under a dome, as the Bible says, which is my worldview that I'm trying to vet and seek out, proof for. Then we have a plausible explanation for how that sun could be faked in Antarctica.
Yep, I'm totally with you on this one.
Yeah, you would be, Mark, because in some ways it fits the model that you speak of.
Well, yeah, and it would solve some of the problems. Some of the problems that David's been dealing with.
Yeah, I mean everything's created. I don't mean it that way, but the model that you were talking about.
Yeah, that's great stuff.
Fascinating stuff. I'm going to look into that guy's channel. Wait a minute, I need to write it down. Do you have the channel name again?
I'll just send you the links for everything.
Right, good. Then I'll put the link to it as well as your channel link so people can look at the map that you're going to post eventually.
That's great.
So we can look at that.
Yeah.
Wow, that's mind-blowing.
Oh, I'll tell you what, I could spend easily a week unpacking all of this stuff, and I want to so bad. I wish I had the time to do it. But, thank you guys for having me come on right here, and hopefully somebody will watch this video that does have the time, and they can produce some really cool stuff, that we can all dig into.
Right on.
All right. Thank you, Rob.
All right, guys.
Thanks, Rob.
Later.
Thank you.
That was nice of Rob to pop in and talk with us. An artificial sun, Mark. Wow. Imagine,
really good.
if you will.
By the way, I forgot to do, since Rob was doing show and tell, watch my segue here. I forgot, people have been sending stuff to both you and me. And what did we get in the mail this week? But shirts for both Patricia and me. You remember the There's Flat Earth, and this is based off of, and I can't remember, it's Joel's the father, and who's the son? Not the artificial son, but the son of Joel.
Why is my I'm blanking out right now.
I
I'm
can't
sorry.
remember his name. Crap.
Sam. There you go.
Sam Zimmerman. Anyway, so that's mine. And then this one, talk about small, but I have absolutely no doubt, because you are so teeny, this would fit you.
Oh, that's perfect.
Yeah, I know, right?
You've got quite the collection of things for me at your
I
place.
do have, but wait, there's more. Also, a big print. Remember, because Joel and Sam actually have, can you see that okay?
Yes. Beautiful colors.
Yeah, I thought that turned out nice. And so
Sam's a really good artist. It's amazing.
yeah. So if anyone, they'll have to tune into the old episode, because I imagine you can't remember the links. If you put it in the description of this show, but
I will.
he's selling these, and I also got one more thing.
Mm-hmm. And we receive no profits for the sale of these items. Just letting people know.
No. There's just people that are saying, "Hey, Mark and Patricia, I told you." No, that's cookies. That's for my show. I showed you Lucius in the Storm, right? We showed that on the last episode.
Oh,
The children's book, Lucius in the Storm.
Oh yeah. Oh no, you spoke about it on a show, and I heard you speak about it.
It was interesting because it's a children's book about a menacing storm that only has one eye. Is written by Kent Knowles. But what's interesting is the kid, to hide from the storm, goes underground.
Creepy.
Yeah, I know. He goes underground, where he meets a flame demon who happens to be a female.
Ugh.
And she so underground, right? He meets this child named Lucius, meets this demon, or this big flame entity, and the flame entity tells him how to beat the storm. The underground. So this hellish environment, and this thing. I know, it's creepy, isn't it? That's children's.
Even the name Lucius sounds like Lucifer to me, of the child.
Yes, absolutely. Yes. I thought that was really interesting. And one more thing.
It is interesting and creepy, and I'm not even sure what it all means.
I don't know either, but a listener sent that to me. I'm not going to mention her name. You know who you are. And then the last one is sent by longtime flat earther Steve Ford out of Portland, Oregon. His son, Alex, sort of like the Joel and, was it Sam?
Yes, Sam.
Yeah. He sent me this print signed by Alex. And hopefully I have it all in camera, of Stanley Kubrick filming an astronaut who happens to be a clown in this case, next to a very rickety homeless shelter, flat earth asshole version of the Apollo program.
That's funny. It looks like a Antonio Subaritz video as well, where he was talking about the lunar lander lunacy.
Yeah. Yeah, so that was, I thought that was kind of cool. So Alex Ford made that. Steve Ford sent it. And it's not the original, of course. I'm sure the original is waiting to become famous, but it's really a cool print. He mounted it on foam core, and it's really a neat thing. So.
You're going to have a whole room for all the flat earth stuff.
Yeah, I know. It's just starting to pile up already. Well, again, it shows you where this thing is going. I mean, the creative process. It's
yes.
We
so many creative people involved in flat earth. Flat earth, aside from all of us achieving collectively freedom from the powers that should not be, is all about individual freedom too.
Yeah.
And our creativity and our way to see the truth.
You saw that the flat earth song, I had to create a 2016 flat earth song list, and it's already got 30 tracks in it. So 2015's got like 50 tracks, and I've already got 30 something tracks, and we're just at the end of March. So yeah, flat earth is dying. Yeah, you wish, debunkers. You wish.
Shall we go to Q&A, because we've left it here. It's gone fallow.
Yeah, sure. Go ahead.
We have time. We have an hour left, so and maybe even a little longer if I can lure you to stay.
I don't know. I seem to be somewhat resistant to your charms, but that's not entirely true.
All right. First one comes from Nathan Oakley, 1980. He says, what did you and Mark think about the Mappa Mundi 13th century flat earth map Martin Leakey suggested we go and see? It blew our minds. You can see videos on this on Nathan Oakley 1980's channel and on Flat Earth British Martin Leakey's channel. And it's this map, 13th century, and it's on animal hide, I believe, and it is inside a cathedral, and it is fascinating, and both guys are doing breakdowns of what they saw on their channels. Did you have a chance to catch it?
I watched several, because he broke down that whole trip in several videos, and I watched several of them, but I didn't catch all of them. So I'll have to go back and look at the map. Sorry. No offense, Nathan. I watched several things where you guys were next to the heater and then you're outside doing photo ops, and it was really, really cool. You know, groups are forming.
That's what's really fantastic is that flat earthers actually, and also Nathan's wife as well, joined. And one other person, and their name escapes me.
I know, I can't remember his name either.
Groups of people are meeting up, flat earthers, and just how wonderful is that? And I do want to say congratulations to Nathan Oakley, because he's going to be a father. I believe that's the information that's just come to us now via Q&A from No One's Flower. So
that's nice.
Flat Earth baby on the way.
It could be the first flat Earth baby officially.
No, there's that one that was born on a plane or something. Remember that story?
That one that had to divert to Alaska.
Well, that wasn't a real flat Earth baby though. They're Joey Roja, who lives in Hawaii. He and his wife, he's not here in Q&A, but I do know him from Facebook. He's very active on Facebook. He and his wife, they live in Hawaii, and they recently had a baby girl. So there's another flat Earth baby. But anyway. Did
you remember that story I sent you about that Canadian guy leading that group of guys that are going to go across Canada trying to push the flat Earth agenda? Do you remember? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and that was in the news. So if you type in flat Earth under Google, you'll see this story, a guy with a backwards baseball cap, I think. And he's a Canadian. And of course, his first stop is where? And he's already contacted her because he's starting on the west coast of Canada. He's contacting Orphan Red. And so he's starting in Vancouver, and they are going to meet with they're filming the whole thing, and they're meet with Orphan Red, and then they're going to continue across Canada. I think taking donations, who knows? They may just be maybe sort of like a flat Earth road trip, you know, where you're going across. Good. It's like, but hey, good for them. That's great.
Bonding is really a great way to keep people strong and keep people active.
Spreading the word.
Speaking of Orphan Red, she's in Q&A and asks, what do you think is happening with all the world leaders of various kinds going to Antarctica? Which is
really freaking me out. I don't get freaked out early. I'm sorry. I don't get freaked out often or early, but because I'm a prepper. So I generally don't have to worry about it. But it's really interesting watching because it reminds me of the Raiders of the Lost Ark stuff where, I mean, think of the chain of events here. And Rob Skiba can back me on this because he did a video on this, which was, so Leonardo DiCaprio goes and visits the Vatican, right? Talks to the Pope, mentions flat Earth. The Pope then goes to Cuba and meets with a Russian Orthodox, their version of the Pope down in Cuba, right? Then leaves. That Pope, or that, I don't know what you want to call him, Pope-ish, Popey, I don't know, whatever.
Pope-esque.
Pope-esque. Yeah, he then goes down to Antarctica and goes to the only church. Who knew there was a Russian church down in Antarctica? It's this tiny little shack of a building, and goes down there and, you know, some ritual thing, and we don't know where he was offhand. And then meanwhile, there was supposedly this ark that was, you know, in the Middle East and caused that human stampede, which killed 1,500 people. But some people are saying now that it was actually a bolt of plasma that came down and hit this thing.
This sounds like a movie, really. Doesn't it?
It does. And then on top of that, what was the other thing? The Russians were going down there for something. And then Obama takes his trip down to Cuba, where the Pope was just at, right? It took like 1,000 people with him. There was this big, I know, because it's his last term and it's the last year of the last term, you get, you know, some of the perks. It's like, hey, any Democrats want to come to Cuba? Sure, I'll get my swimsuit. So they all go down there. And then he goes from Cuba down to Argentina. Right. I thought that was interesting because it's like, okay, wouldn't that be just a hop, skip, and a jump from Argentina to Antarctica if he wanted to go, you know, take a different plane, maybe not take Air Force One down there. It's really strange, the stuff that's been happening lately with world leaders kind of jumping around and doing things. What's all the activity about? What's involved here? Love it. Love the mystery.
Well, some of it is showing you can easily go to Antarctica. That would be the most surface level. And then there could be something happening there that they're not telling us.
Yeah. Yeah, because you're not going to tell people. You can't even make up really good reasons to. Yeah, but why would that Pope? That was the more curious one for me. Was why the Pope from Cuba, after meeting with the Vatican, goes down to Antarctica. And of course the photo ops where he's standing in the middle of penguins. But what was he really doing when the cameras weren't rolling? That was super curious. So, there you go. Anyway,
well,
sorry.
Thank you, Orphan Red. Robin Poe also pops in to say congratulations to Nathan Oakley. He's going to be a father. That's so cool.
That's nice.
Martin Leedke comes up here on Q&A here and says, yay, to echo Nathan, it was mind-blowing, the Map Mundi thing that they all went to. And a picture of the ISS, the globe, and Tim Peake recognizing the flat Earth map right beside one of the oldest flat Earth maps on Earth, ? He said it made him sick. And he says, God bless. Yeah. Love, Martin.
NASA will rue the day. Yes, I said it.
We hope.
No, bet on it.
Chris Rock from Flat Earth Reality says Rob Skiba being on is wonderful. Of course. He certainly is.
Always great to see Rob. And again, I'm going to take credit because I was the one that initially blew Rob's mind.
Yeah, that's true. You initially blew my mind as well. You mind blower, you.
I'm mind blower. Because he was at a gateway drug.
Yes.
Because he was on taking
And
kind of and a shill, thank you, and a drone pilot, and whatever, and all the other things.
At least you're not a reptilian like me. By the way, somebody's going to take that, cut it, and make another reptilian video about me. So, hi.
Okay, if anybody wants a meme, here we go. Ready? Okay. So no, because he was driving between places and he listened to the Canary Cry interview on the way there and then repeated it and listened to it on the way back. And because the first time he's going, this guy's insane. He can't actually be sane. But I get that a lot from the people that watch the clues anyway. They'll watch the clues the whole way through and they'll go, what the hell did I just listen to? And they'll watch it again and then they'll be like, can that actually be real? And then they'll, people say that they've watched the clues like 4 and 5 times, and as they're falling asleep, I'm just going, don't do that. Don't listen.
I watched them twice. I watched it initially. You were the first thing I stumbled across. You were the first I stumbled across in the flat Earth world after looking at the moon hoax. You were suggested video. And then after that, I went and watched many other videos by well-known flat earthers, and then some not so well-known flat earthers, then debunking videos and individual videos on things like satellites, trying to wrap my mind around it. Then I went back and listened to the flat Earth clues. And by the way, that was March of last year, so I guess it's my flativersary now. And many of our flativersaries.
Flativersary, yeah. And you didn't fall for any of the subliminal hot sex suggestions.
What? Huh?
Exactly. No, seriously, there's nothing send money messages in the clues at all.
Exactly. Mr. Moot is here, who says, tell Rob I'm a fan and I'd love to collaborate with him on something for the Lord someday. God bless. And he also says, how often do either of you use the Gleason map to prove your point? Love you both. Let me know when you want to do another interview with me, maybe without the helmet of salvation. Take care. God bless. Kind of might be a good idea. Mr. Moot caught hell for wearing his armor of God. Yeah, I shouldn't use the term caught hell with Mr. Moot. Sorry.
Caught hell for wearing the armor of God.
People weren't so happy. Well, a lot of people love Mr. Moot, but there were some people who thought that he shouldn't be wearing what he wears. And you know what? People can wear whatever they want to wear, in my opinion. If they're good people and they are speaking their truth, and that's all I care about.
It's a free country. Hey, look, there's other countries you wouldn't be able to get away with that.
Yeah.
Wearing what you want. I mean, but as far as using the Gleason map, it's on my machine. I've sent it to a few people, but the dimensions, regardless of how the grid is laid out, the dimensions aren't really that much different from the straight up azimuthal world projection that's on Wiki. So I think the Wiki one's cleaner, but there's nothing wrong with Gleason's map. You know what's cool about the Gleason's map, though? I will say this, is that out of all the flat Earth maps that are on the internet, that one has the highest resolution. So if you download a Gleason's map, there's 1 or 2 out there that they're upwards of, I don't know, 5,000 by 3,000 resolution, which is really, really good. So you can zoom in and do some fun stuff with it. And it's perfect for Photoshop, which is why I think Rob used it. So. Anyway.
And for those who are, not at all down with the AE map, Gleason's map or whatever, we're not here. I'm not here anyway to promote any specific map. I'm just glad people are looking into it. And I know that we live on a flat stationary plane, and hey, the rest is just
and you and I have talked about this. And again, I'm not going to be as politically correct. until I will say this no different than I would the Crow 777 Moon videos. Until somebody comes out with a better map than the AE map, I'm using it. And people say, well, what map you use? I'm handing out the AE map because they want something. I'm not going to hand them.
Right,
nothing.
right.
So
yeah, I mean, I've told people about that map, and I've just said it's right now it's just something that's being worked with. We don't really know the exact shape, and people say, well, what about the firmament/dome? Could that still be over any other size map? And I'm like, you know what? God, the creator, can make a firmament/dome over a star-shaped Earth or a triangle-shaped Earth or any shape you want, if that was what was wanted.
really, so the first two shapes you thought of were a star and a triangle. That's fantastic.
Well, a heart-shaped map.
There you
like
go,
that?
heart or a square or something.
Yeah, whatever it may be. Whatever it may be.
And if you said star, are you talking about a pentagram star or a Jewish star?
Oh, no, I shouldn't have said a star. The thing
See?
about stars are they're, you know what? The star shape
I've
is
become
pretty.
much more self-conscious. Remember, I can't even say.
Oh, me too.
I can't say roulette table anymore when
I agree.
describing.
And
because
I have earrings that are in shapes of triangles, and this people have said they're shape of a pyramid. I have earrings and jewelry that has a star shape. Afraid to wear them. I probably will wear one on my next show just because I can. They're not sending out any secret messages. They're just
great.
Shapes. Are starfish bad? Should we just kill all starfish in the ocean?
Well, that's just it, because some starfish have 5 legs and some have a lot more.
I didn't know that.
It's true.
Mm-hmm. True story.
It's a true story.
The Flat Earth Reality says, just so you all know, I'm working on a new map where the country sizes are right, and we'll see what happens. Looking forward to that. Here's a question I guess I need to address, and maybe you can chime in. Mr. Rich B.O.B. says, what's up with the Myres guy who was pretending to be a flat earther? I've been gone a while and don't know what's going on. Well, there's a guy named Myres, and he has a channel called Myres, and I think that's something to do with Discordia, Discord, as opposed to Harmony. And his channel is about, I don't know, he looks into the dark corners of the internet where lots of weird things are happening with people who seem bizarre, and he does videos on them. He actually did a video on myself and my guest way back. I think maybe it was episode number 5. I may be mistaken of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes, when I had D. Murphy 25, who just came out with a new video, by the way.
A great video.
Yeah, but this was a video interview he did with me. D. Murphy 25, allegedly Dave, he's also known by. But anyway, Myres, who I had not really ever heard of, did a video and used a little slice from the episode I did with D. Murphy 25, and in which we were talking about the age-old way to heal your body by drinking your own urine. Yeah, I know it sounds crazy, but hey, it's an alternate health method that's worked for many people for years, and he and I were discussing it, and it is a fascinating thing. You can look into it yourself. Anyway, so Myres saw that. Somebody sent it to him and said, look at these freaks. And he did a little slice in a video talking about how weird we are. Well, then somebody sent me Myres' video, and he wasn't really brutally making fun of me, but he was just saying, that this is ridiculous and all of that. I think I made some kind of comment like, thank you for exposing my video to your fans. Life went on. Then he started railing against Flat Earth and some Flat Earthers and just sort of poking fun at them. I had not spoke with him, at all, ever since that one time I commented on the video that he included me in. And then he did a lot of videos that were anti-Flat Earth. And then you and I did the Flatty Awards, and we were awarding video makers who, through the past year, who had come out with some excellent videos. And we did have a few fun awards in there. And one of those was for, what did we call it, Mark? Most angriest anti-Flat Earth rant, and one of them went to
it was angriest Flat Earth rant. One was pro and one was con. It was a tie between Jake Blastard on the pro side and anti with Myres on the.
Okay, that was what it was, and we did talk a little bit about both of the men, and both of them are highly intelligent, and I respect both of them and what they do. Well, Myres does go into a side of things that is not my side of things, where he's more angry about individuals. Anyway, so whatever, we gave him that award, and then he made a video accepting the award proudly. And then of course I messaged him and said, hey, it's cool you made the video. Life went on. then he started talking about pro-flat Earth on his channel. And it was fascinating to me, like, wait a minute, you are really interested in flat Earth? Because it happens. People one day, as we all have seen, are saying, I hate flat Earth, I hate flat Earth, I hate flat Earth. And then they come out with a video that says, I like flat Earth. And we kind of started talking, and I could see that he wasn't 100% a flat earther, but he was looking into it. And he asked me a lot of really good questions. And one of the things that he said was, why would they lie? And, we messaged back and forth about that on Facebook. And I explained why I think that they would hide the flat earth shape from us. And he was saying, well, what, maybe we live on a bigger ball. I mean, he wasn't just saying it's dumb. He was asking relevant questions. Yeah. And through our exchange of information, we found out we both live in Houston, which was weird because we live literally 5 minutes away from each other, give or take. Yeah. Houston is huge. Anyway, excuse me, so is Texas. So we decided to meet up. And so we met up last Monday and had a drink at a place close to where he and I both live. We got along famously and had a fun time. We talked about video making. We talked a little bit about flat Earth, but mostly about what it's like to make YouTube videos. And for those who make videos, you know what it's like. It's almost like talking shop, like just discussing how you make your videos, et cetera, et cetera. So we did that. And then I think I gave him a ride to his car. So he got in my car because he parked in a different area than me. And as we were sitting in the car, we're like, let's make a video. So he used his iPhone and made a little video. It was totally spur of the moment. And it was something along the lines of, hi, I'm Myres, and this is Patricia Steere of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. And then we said in unison, the earth is flat. And he said, bye-bye. And I said, bye. And that was the end of the video. He put it on his channel. And a lot of people thought it was great. And a lot of people thought it was horrible. His audience is anti-flat Earth. And my audience is pro-flat Earth. So it got that mixed review thing going on.
You're not going to win either way.
Doesn't matter to me. It was just a spur of the moment little fun video. And then as time went on, he revealed that he wasn't really into the flat Earth and that he was kind of actually only playing with the whole idea. So that's what happened with the Omniairs thing. So no harm, no foul, in my opinion.
Honestly, I appreciate the fact that you know me. I don't care if you come out against flat Earth or you say that you're for flat Earth and then come out against it later. I mean, not to mention, Rain's name too many times, but if somebody comes out and makes a I hate flat Earth and Mark Sargent video and he does one every day, I'm all for it. I'll endorse that guy because it helps the metrics.
It helps the metrics.
Plain and simple. You put it flat Earth in the title of the video. I don't care if you hate me. And send me, horrible letters. It wouldn't make any.
But the thing is, yes, what you mean by metrics is when somebody does a search for flat Earth, it's just more things with flat Earth in the title. And the videos, they don't hurt me, these negative videos that are made. And I know they don't hurt you. They amuse me sometimes. Most of the time I don't watch them, but I can see from the title where they're going with it. And I pretty much just give that lip curl to them, the Billy Idol lip curl, and just move on with my life, delete or whatever. Or what I don't mean delete, I mean scroll to the next video is what I'm trying to say. Anyway, so that's up with Omniairs. Cool. He has a right to do it. He does, and we had a great time when we hung out, and that's that. Up next from Plasma John Doe. Hey, I bet this question's about plasma. No, probably not. He says, remember, Vatican has hundreds and thousands of years of hidden knowledge in their secret vaults, not to mention they own our birth certificates. All roads lead to Rome. Yeah. Interesting.
True. Yeah, the Vatican is such an enigmatic place. They've got more secrets than just about anybody. No question. And they've sealed them away, and there's some really, really interesting stuff there. Did the Library of Alexandria really get burned down, or did they get a lot of that stuff out there? And have they been collecting things for years and years? And in fact, even the famous flat Earth wood carving, or wood engraving, called the Flammarion, where the monk is looking outside of the dome. There's the dome and the stars and the sun are on the inside. He's looking out, and it's completely different. It's completely different other dimensions.
That's on so many people's Facebook pages as their icon, and so many YouTube videos. It's beautiful, actually. Yeah,
the first version of that I think came out in 1888, but the story goes back to the Vatican, where the rumor is anyway that the Vatican sent out these monks to find the edge of the world, And the story was that one of them found, a gap in it, whatever. It's probably embellished a little, somewhat. But I will say that woodcut or wood engraving is gorgeous. It is amazing to look at because it's exactly what I would picture. And that is, if you actually could look, everything seemed like it was in line with the flat Earth movement, which was all the stars and the sun, everything was the inside of this domed structure, and then outside was completely different. Wasn't outer space on the outside. It wasn't more stars and more suns. It was completely different dimensions, which was just how it was depicted was really interesting. In fact, one of the items in that was Ezekiel's wheel, the whole UFO thing. Remember, Ezekiel described in one of the books in the Bible, it described a wheel within a wheel spinning. So anyway, interesting.
Very interesting. I know I'm pronouncing her first name wrong, and she messaged me. She didn't message me. She corrected me in Q&A maybe a month ago, maybe give or take, how to pronounce her first name. Ukdena is her first name. And I said Ukdina before, but it's not Ukdina. It's Ukadina? No. Anyway, Walker. She's so nice. Anyway, she says, Patricia, please ask Rob which book of Enoch is the best to read and understand for a non-Christian, non-religionist like moi. And tell Rob I think he's a great guy. Well, Rob is gone. And I don't know.
Read the whole book of Enoch. Also read
different ones. So what he would.
Oh, you mean which version?
They're all. Maybe somebody can put in Q&A what they think is the best version.
You mean like the King James versus the New English Standard, or like we have with the Bible? It's not going to matter much anyway, because Enoch is still pretty technical. I mean, that's what makes it interesting. It reads like a technical manual. Also, read the book of Jasher if you get a chance. That's also very, very interesting. Where that's when Enoch is leaving the world. He walks off the world. He's not like he's carried up. He makes this big journey off to, in fact, the was the one that really caught my eye was the very end of chapter 3 on the book of Jasher, where Enoch had all these followers try to follow him, because they didn't want him to go. And people remember Enoch was the father of Methuselah, who was the father of Noah, if you follow that chain. And he supposedly, when he walked off the earth, they couldn't follow him because he walked through this area and it was repetitive. They said of ice and snow and more ice and more snow. And they could not follow him. And they could not pass the barrier that he went through. And so they had to turn back. Very, very interesting. So,
Ukdina says that I pronounced her name right, but now I'm thinking I'm saying it wrong. I have to say she's great. She's not mad at me for mispronouncing it, which is always nice.
Get an American name like Joan or Kate or Kimberly.
No, don't. Mr. Moot says The Gods of Egypt is a cool movie. Did we notice the references in that?
Oh, you mean like when they were pulling, the gods were pulling a small sun over a flat earth? Yeah. Caught it. Yep. I didn't even have to watch the movie, although I should have because I'm a Gerard Butler fan.
Gerard Butler. I added him to the list. Is he vying for first place with George Clooney in your heart of hearts?
No. Gerard Butler, though.
Because no one could.
No. Gerard Butler, in 300, the movie was so overpowering. The casting was brilliant in that. But I remember there was this one scene, break off for like 30 seconds, because I saw it on opening weekend, 300. And there was this one scene where after this battle, all the guys are oiled up or walking in slow motion towards the camera. And there must have been like, 15, 16 guys, just ripped, regardless if anything was photoshopped or not. And I remember because it was a packed house and all the women that were there, because it was a date movie type thing, all the women, you could hear them like open mouth gasping because they hadn't seen. It's like, there are men like this out there, like a whole group of men. I want to live.
The movie probably caused divorce afterwards.
Yeah, I want to live in Greco-Roman times. And all the guys, I remember this, all the guys that I hung out, we had a big group go, a lot of dates. They all were like, all the guys wanted to go to a steakhouse afterwards, eat meat afterwards because it got them all the bloodlust.
Anyway, funny. Yeah. Speaking of eating meat and not eating meat, the gorgeous Raven Locks, a friend of mine as well on Facebook, who has recently gone vegan, and her significant other asked me if I could ask Rob, who's gone now, if he has come across Bible texts regarding Egypt being the center of the world. That's interesting.
I mean, it's.
I wish you were here to answer that, but unfortunately, no.
I mean, Egypt and the Middle East are all very significant in all sorts of stories. I don't know about being the center, but
check this out. You just got slammed by a Kadena Walker who says, "Yo, Mark, white boy," smiley face. "My name is All American. Indian, that is."
Oh, Native American.
Yeah.
And by that I mean Casino American.
Vote you off the island of this show.
Sorry. I grew up in an area where there's a lot of Native American reservations up here, up in Washington. A ton, Lacan or Tulalip, Puyallup. There's just a lot of them up here, and so no, I have that. And plus, I'm one of the few guys I know that actually dated an Native American girl.
Really?
She was part Cherokee. Okay, so I didn't mean to slam her.
I know you didn't.
Just,
nicest guy in Flat Earth would never do that. Robin Poe comes here to say, well, you are. I mean, says, I heard that the Book of Enoch by R.H. Charles is the most accurate translation.
Well,
interesting.
All right then.
Thank you, Robin. Enoch 7th from Adam says, have you ever watched a movie on YouTube called The New World Order Bible Versions? I don't think I have.
I don't think I have either.
And I accidentally just deleted a really good question. I don't know where it went.
Would that be like
question just got deleted with an accident?
An expanded Georgia Guidestone thing? I mean, the Georgia Guidestone's pretty much said everything as far as the New World
Order Bible Versions. Oh, and Chris in Love, the YouTuber who was on my Ginger Fest.
I do know her.
Took a trip to the Georgia Guidestones and actually filmed them, which was pretty neat to do because she lives close enough. But I think her trip took her 2 hours there to get there. We've got Brett Hawks here who says, why do you think they took the Ark of Gabriel to Antarctica, as we were speaking about earlier?
That's the story.
Is there some reason it couldn't or shouldn't be dealt with somewhere else? Is the Antarctic continent in a special location? Is this more evidence that they know the true nature of Earth? Brett Hawks, I like your style. Very
to answer that, yes, and yes. Why they took it down there? Was it part of a ritual? Was it giving off a plasma discharge and they wanted to use it against the structure? Who knows?
Or there's something about that area that keeps it protected or protects it from us, or
I don't know, but it was awfully suspicious.
They needed or wanted it.
That news story when 1,500 men died of like a human stampede, and the news was kind of brushing it off like, oh yeah, this happens sometimes. It's going 1,500 people
running of the bulls, maybe.
not even running of the bulls. I mean, we had what was it? Remember that Who concert years and years ago where it was general audience seating where you could rush to get to the front row, and like 6 people got trampled. That was 6 people during a Who concert. You're just getting through the doors. 1,500 people. That means you're running over a lot. People that are stepping on other people, they're getting stepped on. I mean, you're getting layers and layers. I don't buy it. I don't buy it as a human stampede. I think it was something bigger. I think it was instantaneous, like, getting hit. Raiders of the Lost Ark style, where you open up the thing and it's like everyone that's around there just gets whacked. Yeah.
Katina Walker says, ha ha ha, about the casino comment you made. I'm anti-casino, as most Indian traditional elders are.
Maybe so, but I don't want to get into it. I mean, look, they know a good racket when they see it, and that is no tax things on cigarettes and alcohol, better fishing licenses.
Hey, how about just skip all that and let them have their land that we stole from them? That would be fair.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you mean there. we don't talk about that.
Yeah, that's exactly.
I know. I feel bad. I feel really, really bad. Because
putting people on reservations and getting them involved in addictive things like gambling and also the alcohol abuse that can take place in places in and around casinos, that's just a way to slow kill people. That's why it was probably done.
And I know indigenous populations, look at Australia, for example, they take it in the chops, no question. What I felt bad is that the government got clever and figured out, well, we'll just buy them off. So not only did you put them on reservations, that wasn't the clever part. The clever part was we'll give them a monthly check a pretty decent size. We'll basically buy them off. Whoever's left, we'll put them on the reservation, and then you don't have to work. We'll just pay every month. And they do it monthly, always monthly. And I don't know exactly why that is, but it's odd. Anyway, so I only knew this because I dealt with the reservations during my whole fireworks thing.
Oh, okay. It makes sense. Makes sense.
I got to deal with a lot of that.
And to learn more about the fireworks thing, when he was a youth living on Whidbey Island, it's on a Strange World episode or two.
Yeah, episode 1. And well, one more thing, and that was when you go to reservations, they pay them enough, in some cases, depending on how they manage the money, to where you'll see, like, not like down in the South where people park cars in their lawn type stuff. But if it's like car breaks down, you know what? Just buy a new one. You take your money, and basically it sucked the motivation out of whatever they wanted to aspire to do, whatever they wanted to aspire to be.
Beautiful, vibrant people trampled on by the powers that should not be. Yeah. One of a bazillion stories.
Yes. Anyway, sorry. That was my little
Teresa
thing.
Gordon says, so I want to know if they have a patent for a fake moon. Well, it's only a paper moon, as the old movie goes and song.
Who did the test just recently? Was it
moonlight test?
No. It was somebody else I just talked to. I think it was
Thrive and Survive did a moonlight test recently. Lots of people did, especially recently.
Yeah, and I think because of that big moon that just happened. I think Jaron's putting out one, or Bob. Crap, I can't remember. I just talked to him. Anyway, yeah, there's another moon test. Rob Skeep, of course, did a great one, but the one that is coming out is like 7 to 8 degrees. I think it was Jaron. Yeah, he did one multiple different ways and did a really great job. So
how are we able to keep up with what's going on in Flat Earth?
It's not easy.
We're not. It's impossible. There's probably really great videos I could mention here. I just haven't seen.
Most of the videos, like you, I mean, I get links from people that say, "Hey, did you watch this? It was really, really good." It's like, and then it's like, and sometimes I miss it. Thank God people email me, because they'll email me about videos that don't have Flat Earth in the title. And if the Flat Earth is not in the title, I will not. I don't search for it, because what else am I going to search for? So put Flat Earth in the title somewhere, even if it's parentheses at the end.
Robin Poe writes the story that the Ark of Gabriel was transported by the Russian Navy to the Church of the Holy Trinity in Antarctica. Yeah. The Pope gave the Archpatriarch of Moscow an ancient scroll in Cuba to perform a ritual over the Ark of Gabriel.
Yeah, that's it.
That's the full story.
That's the story.
And after the ritual was performed, Robin Poe says, over the Ark of Gabriel, it was carried by I'm going to say this one wrong, Spetsnaz team further.
That's a
into
Russian
the interior of Antarctica.
Russian special forces. Spetsnaz. Very tough.
But why?
Tough guys. Why would you have Spetsnaz carry it?
Why would you have all of this happen?
I don't know. Something's coming. Something's coming.
What is it? Incoming trouble.
Every day I turn on the internet, of course, I'm never going to get to it first. Somebody's going to text me and say, "Hey, the end of the world's happening." It's like, really? Here's video.
Oh gosh, scary.
End of the world, golden age, one of the two things.
Yeah.
By the way, did I tell you Ryan and Becky Friori Burgers sent me some cookies?
No.
Trader Joe cookies.
That's a heck of a last name they've got there.
Yeah. Don't
put their address up.
Don't get mad. Will they?
Can we see the cookies? Are they there?
No.
Oh, you just kept their address out.
Right. Yeah, I'll cut out the thing so I can read on air, because I'm going to read on my show tomorrow. And then on the back, it's cookies from Trader Joe's. I read that. So what people send.
Trader Joe's is good. They have a lot of vegan stuff for those who care about that.
I'm pretty sure these were vegan cookies.
Good. Ravenlocks comes back to say, you're lying, aren't you, Mark?
No.
Antarctica may be an ideal environment due to the extreme cold to conduct quantum levitation experiments, i.e. ISS's zero gravity.
Yep. Super ductwork activity. No, I mean superconductivity.
But it completely makes sense, actually.
Yeah, but you don't
really cold. You've seen those videos with the levitation like magnetic, and it's always over. It's
always super cold. Yeah, but you don't. Yeah. You could simulate that other places. Although that would be kind of fun.
Yeah, a lot easier.
Yeah.
Let's see. We've got Lisa Brittany saying, "I just wanted to wish everyone love, strength, and courage. Cheers from Scotland," which I guess is Scotland. Bonnie, Scotland. Been there maybe 4 times, all over Scotland, and I loved it. So thank you, Lisa Brittany. It's flat there too, I think.
Is she in Scotland?
I think so. Cheers
Wow,
from
that's really
Scotchland. So she's either in a Scotch tape plant or in Scotland.
Did you see
You
that?
figure it out.
Was that Chinese or Japanese? Crap, I think it was Chinese. That video I sent you. It was a flat Earth video, but
Yes,
it was like an
And
interview that they were talking a
yes,
podcast.
I listened to it. Of course, I can't speak the language. And then I looked at the comments to see if anybody wrote anything in English. And then I shared it on my Facebook, both the Patricia Steere personal page and Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes community page. Go ahead and give it a like. Lots of good videos there. And I shared it on my Twitter, but I have no idea if this is pro or con Flat Earth, but interesting that Flat Earth is being talked about all over the plane.
Yeah.
But I hope
is.
it was pro.
It is.
Oh, I need to talk about something. Teresa Gordon has just reminded me that she has created an international and national or United States census, and it's on Facebook. So take a look for that, the Flat Earth Census. She wants people to say where they are from, and so she lists all the different states, and then you say, you know, Patricia Steere, Houston, Texas. You know, you do that. So look for that, or Teresa Gordon herself on Facebook, and get involved in that. Definitely get involved. So we can find out as much as we can anyway through Facebook. How many flat earthers are there, and where are the highest concentrations, in what countries and in what states in the United States? Mr. Rich B.O.B. says, I was thinking and I realized that saying the Bible is a flat earth book doesn't work because they think the Bible isn't inerrant. Inerrant isn't a word I'm familiar with. They ignore 2 Timothy 3:16, Proverb 18:13, and 1 Thessalonians 5:21. These 3 are partly why I made Joshua 24:15 my life verse. So for those who know,
that was it. That was the whole thing.
Yeah.
Well, okay. So I disagree, which is the Bible. I consider it a very flat earth book. And if you have any doubt, go to testingtheglobe.com, done by...
Well, I don't know if he was saying that he disagrees. He was saying that maybe they disagree. They being people who are the naysayers.
Well, yeah. I mean, you're going to have... yeah, of course. We know that there's religious people out there that disagree. But their evidence pales in significance to all the pro-flat earth references that are in the books. There's just too much stuff out there, and they can't look at Tiger Dan. He's a perfect example. He did 75 Bible proofs, right? Then he tried to go against it, but before he got even addressed that video, he drops off the face of the plane.
It hasn't been heard from except a few comments on a few videos, and they're anti-flat earth videos.
And
as David Weiss said, it might not even be him.
That is also very true. Did I tell you, by the way, I'm not using the word atmosphere anymore?
Were you using atmosplane?
No, I'm going to say air.
Fair enough. Fair enough.
Well, it's because somebody called me out. They go, "Why do you say atmosphere?" And I'm going, "Yeah, you're right."
True. There's so many words that we can't say anymore, and then they just slip out. Barbara Hoban writes, "This is a great way to stay in touch with many flat earthers and bounce new ideas around." Yay, Barbara, that's the plan. Plasma John Doe says, I think by definition, if the moon makes its own energy, it happens to be cold energy, that makes it a sun as well. Blessings and blissings. The moon makes its own energy.
Yeah, but
Cold
I
sun.
mean, it's a completely different light source. That's no different than saying an incandescent light bulb over there is the same as a nightlight. They're both light sources, but one is, I mean, they're just different. I mean, the whole term sun is going to be thrown out. You're going to have to people are going to have to, you can't call it sun and the moon anymore, really. I mean, of course I will, but because they're really, one is whatever type of light source. We don't know what it is yet. You'll have to ask Eric Dollard if he ever becomes a flat earther. He'd probably come up with a good name for it. You know what I mean?
He's not that readily available.
No. Plus, he still probably lives in his car.
Yeah. Hey, well, he's a brilliant guy, and who needs? If what your life is involved with is research and experiments, you don't really need no stinking house. Just need a car. Be able to get from point A to point B, safe place to sleep, eat there, and
think of all the things that are going to change if this sucker actually breaks out.
Will it be living in our cars?
Well, no, but the priorities, material wealth. Will that really have
started with all of us flat earthers already seeing what we value and what we don't value. We're not throwing what we own out on the streets and saying, but I know that we are not as much concerned with purchasing new things anymore and we're concerned with providing for a future for our friends and family.
Yeah.
More so, people are becoming a little more conscious of storing up goods for their family, that kind of thing. I think people are talking with their neighbors more, if only to talk about flat Earth.
Yeah.
Things are changing little by little. And what it really will take to change things, I don't believe, is going with torches and burning down NASA. It's going to just be us growing the flat Earth community.
Plus,
getting more and more people as flat Earthers.
You'll need more than torches to burn down those NASA buildings. You really have to do it from the inside.
That's true. So maybe we need to find out exactly what they did 9/11 with. And
oh yeah, thermite. You need a lot of thermite.
If it's directed energy weapons, a combination of that and regular demolition, magical elves, whatever it was. And I'm not condoning we blow up NASA.
Aren't all elves magical?
Yeah, I guess you're right about that. More magical than normal. And
hey, by the way,
elves.
was not a side note? Was Omni-Eris taller than you thought he would be?
Yes.
He looked taller when I saw him.
I'm 5'7". Wait, what?
He looked.
When you saw him sitting next to me in the car, I'm like, where did you see us? You live in a different state.
Sorry.
Yes, we were sitting in my car, and he is taller. I'm really bad with heights. I'm 5'7",
but he was taller.
He was 2 to 3 inches taller than me. Yes.
Yeah.
Indeed, he was.
There you go.
And he's really, forget about his videos and how they're very, like angry and he's mad at people. And he's actually very gentle, super polite, and well-spoken and intelligent. Now, that doesn't mean that everything he does in his videos, I'm like, yeah, go. What I'm saying is this is the person that I met. This is the person that I spoke with.
Big into gay rights too.
Well, I mean, it's who he is. And if, just like us, we're big into flat Earth. It's who we are now anyway. Yeah. Teresa Gordon says that so far with her flat Earth survey for international and United States that she has on Facebook, she says California has the highest population of flat Earthers in the US and Canada for the international. And we keep joking about the fact that there's so many in Canada.
I get a lot of phone calls from Canada.
Yeah. I get a lot of messages, emails, and there's so many great Canadian flat Earthers. I could sit around here and, make a list. I won't even do it because I'll know I'll leave people out. Hey, we got this message here from Wesley Stace with the Flat Earth News. He says, just FYI, the show we all three, you and I and Wesley Stace did on his channel, Flat Earth News, a few days ago, seems to be a hit with a lot of flat earthers. We got a lot of great comments. Thanks to all that commented. Maybe we should do a weekly comedy show. LOL. Thanks again. And he's saying all that because he set up a show with you and I, Mark, to, just discuss flat earth stuff with him. And for some reason, his internet connection was so bad. The entire show was us trying to make the internet connection work. And we were laughing and joking. And he was a very good sport about it.
It was like watching the Flat Earth interview in the middle of a Blair Witch movie.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what it was like.
Makes you queasy to watch.
The camera work was, I couldn't do that deliberately if I tried. I couldn't replicate what he did. The frame rates were horrible. It was absolutely
Wesley Stace and Flat Earth News if you want to see it.
It was
and he does need support. He's a good guy, a flat earther. Flat Earth is something that he truly believes in, and he's just trying to get more people to subscribe to his channel. And hey, I'm all about that, promoting that.
It was like we were being interviewed by a guy who was being chased through a haunted house with a phone. just this erratic. Oh, it was great. I'm serious. You saw it. It was incredible to watch. So, yeah, watch that. Yeah.
Oh, and David Weiss joined us as well.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, David. Yeah.
Robin Poe writes, we don't need to burn down NASA. I completely agree. And especially with her next comment, we need to laugh them out of the room. Hear, hear. Well, because Ball Earth is a joke and NASA is a joke. They're a joke.
If enough people start knowing about this anyway, it's going to raise the eyebrows of certain Senate subcommittees, and which is why I still think they won't let that happen. They've got to do something beforehand, because once people start, especially remember the subcontractors. NASA's big, but you have military contractors like Boeing, like General Dynamics, like Lockheed Martin. These guys have a lot of money invested in NASA, and if they think for a second that money is going nowhere, or they're being ripped off, they've got a lot of pull. Just saying. Then we can burn it down.
No, laugh them out of the room. I'm not condoning violence. They use violence against us. This is indeed true, but I prefer a different method. I prefer using our brains and really coming together and appreciating each other's individuality, and allowing each other to do Flat Earth the way you want to do it, support others, and together we continue to grow and grow in numbers, and that's how we do it. We become more than them. It's going to take a while. It's going to take a while. Unless that powers that should not be do something to us first.
Great speech. I can sum that for me in one word. Ready? Crackle, 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 crackle.
I know that's what you want to do, but you don't condone violence either, though. So I do know that.
I used to run an explosives company.
Yeah, that's true, but you weren't blowing up people
Yet.
All right. I'm skipping through because there was a comment from Ridgeview and I've lost it now. But Ridgeview said, thumbs up to Barbara, who earlier said this is a great place to meet and discuss, Flat Earth things with other Flat Earthers. Thank you, Ridgeview. And again to Barbara for that comment earlier. Alan H. Channel writes, hi, Patricia and Mark. Great show. June 21st is coming up and we should be observing the 24-hour sun in the Arctic Circle and taking some HD videos of this event. What do you guys think?
Well, yeah, but that's the Arctic Circle. That's easy. Remember, that's not Antarctic. The Arctic one we have absolutely no problem with, which is cool. Says, if you want to shoot it, that's fine. But
Jonathan says he's the organizer of FENJ, Flat Earth New Jersey, the Flat Earth meetup for anyone in New Jersey or New York City. Talking about Flat Earth in public attracts attention and helps make this. So that's Jonathan Vincent and FENJ, Flat Earth New Jersey, the Flat Earth meetup. And he's calling it a meetup, so that must mean it's available when you go online and you look for those meetup groups. Yeah. And I'm going to do one for Houston, Texas, and maybe it would just be a Texas one, but it'll be based out of Houston because that's where I live, in April. I vowed to do it, and I'm going to do it. I haven't figured out how to do it yet, and I will use the meetup thing.
What do you bet that sooner or later somebody's going to make an app for this? Like Tinder.
We know somebody who could make an app for it.
We do know somebody from iMobilize that could make
iMobilize, who made apps for you and I.
Could make an app kind of like Tinder where you can find flat earthers in your area. What do you call it? Flat Earth's too easy, but it's not terrible.
Yeah. No, it sounds like compliments or something. Flatter. So.
Flatter.
Yeah. Well, why not?
I mean, flatter's not derogatory in any way. People think flat stomach, flat ass.
Flattering people. Yeah.
Flattering people.
White
people's butts.
We are going to go. There's a bunch of questions, but I said I promised that I would, and we were running out of time. And I said I would do email, and I've got all this email here, and I'll never get to it all.
I'll go for a little, as long as I can.
Let's see. Mitz Patrick Fitzsimmons, who is also, that's who he goes by, but his name is Chris, and he has a channel called The Last Melchizedek. Boy, I'm pronouncing that incorrectly. And the Melchizedek is the king of Salem and priest of Elyon, mentioned in the 14th chapter of the book of Genesis. Anyway, you may or may not know his channel. And he says that he's got an analog clock app. Now, we have spoke before about the fact that we've got these Flat Earth apps that out of the goodness of his heart, Joe from iMobilize created for you and I, and he's doing one for you for being a prepper, and I'm going to have him do one for me if he's willing about veganism. But currently, if you would like the apps for Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes or Mark Sargent's Flat Earth Clues and assorted other things he's done, you can find them. You don't even really need a link. You just go to your phone and you go to apps and you put in either of our names and they will come up, and then you can download them and they are free for you, and we do not benefit. We get no proceeds from them. But Mitz, we'll call him MITZ, he created this analog clock app as a gift for the Flat Earth community. For those who wanted some type of Flat Earth token, which they could simply download for free to their Android device. And he says there's been a decent amount of positive feedback and over 1,400 downloads to date. The app doesn't have any advertising like ours. It's 100% free. You can get it in the Google Play Store. And let's see, how would you actually get it? The Flat Earth Analog Clock Android app. That is what he calls it. And so I would imagine that that's what you'd look up for. And I want to promote, it's Patrick Fitzsimmons and his Flat Earth Analog Clock. And I'm going to show what it looks like here. And I printed it. Can you see it?
Yeah, but you have to talk if you're going to.
Oh, yeah, there it is. So there it is. So
very cool.
This app came before our app, and we were saying our app was the first. It was not, and there could be others as well.
Oh, we didn't say it was the first.
Oh, we didn't. I also want to say hello to Francis, Patron, maybe Patron. No, and I hope I'm saying and spelling that last name correctly. Francis is getting a cat. May have already got it this past weekend, a kitten, and is naming the kitten, get this, Flat No Spin. So I think that's cool. We even have Flat Earth cats. I call my 3 cats who are roaming here Flat Earth cats, but this is a cat with a flat name. So Flat No Spin, welcome to Flat Earth, little kitty.
Oh, that's nice.
Isn't that nice? There's a bunch of other these I'll say for another time because they're quite long, like really long, like 2 pages. I'll have to do some highlighting. I received this from, their name is just a bunch of numbers, so it wouldn't matter if I read it or not, and they're not a YouTuber specifically, but they took this picture and sent it to me of the programming that's just in everywhere in our culture that we don't even pay any attention to. This is in a car dealership called Camelback Toyota. Check this out. Just randomly on the ceiling. Look at that.
Oh.
Planets everywhere. Why? Now, if it was a Saturn dealership, I could maybe get it, but does Toyota own Saturn? I don't think so. That's really confusing why you'd have that in your dealership. So weird. So hopefully everyone was able to see that. Greg writes, I just wrote to Alex Jones InfoWars and explained to them the endless NASA fakery and for them to cover it. I hope they do. Yeah, Greg, you and me both. Let's see. I'm skipping a few of these since we're somewhat running out of time because they're very lengthy. I'll get to those another time. I'm not skipping anything for any reason that I don't like you, or it's nothing like that. I know I get comments like, you skipped. There's no other reason other than I'm just trying to get as much in as I can. You're not good enough, basically. That's what she's trying to say. That's what I'm being told, and I know that I am good enough, and I'm strong enough, and I'm smart enough, and gosh darn it all, people like me. Another movie reference, Gold Star, if you can figure out which one. I kind of botched it, but you know what I'm talking about. I do. I want to thank a guy named Trolley. Trolley is his nickname. He lives in Australia. And I had put an all call out a couple of times because I tried to edit my first 2 episodes of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. The very first one I did was August 23rd, 2015. And I did it with the now gone but not forgotten stars Our Souls. He's still fine. He just has retired from doing YouTube videos. Maybe he'll come back. You never know. He's taken the videos down off his channel. He's still a flat earther. We are still friends on Facebook. He's still vegan and active in flat earth and veganism on his Facebook. But no more videos. He just got caught up in a lot of drama. People were pushing onto him. It didn't have anything to do with me. But my first couple shows were with him. And I was trying to edit the first couple shows because there were weird errors. I didn't have a mic and there was sound issues. And then one show died in the middle of the show and I had to start it up again anyway. So I was trying to edit them together and I was really pretty bad at editing. And I don't edit anything anyway, but I was trying, which is why I don't edit anything, and failed. And I ended up messing the episodes up and deleting them. And then later I thought, oh, why did I do that? I'd rather have them still, even if they're horrible and flawed and there's dead air and bad sound quality. And so I put a call out. Anybody has them. And you know how the internet is. You always think somebody has that. But I thought, who the heck would ever record this random woman who'd never been seen in Flat Earth before August 23rd, 2015, doing her first and second shows? Guess who? A guy named Trolley from Australia recorded every single episode of Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. And he sent them to me. And I put them back on my channel. And he wrote me some really fantastic emails about his life and what he's doing, basically, you know, kind of living off the land, not being involved with all the things that we're all trying to get away from, the system, and just you know, really kind of him to do it. And now episodes 1 and 2 are back up on my channel, so you can see how horrible I was at first. So I don't know if I was really horrible, but
You
yeah,
weren't
kinda
horrible.
yeah, kind of.
You weren't. You didn't
I
have
didn't
your
have a microphone, and I didn't have this Bluetooth thing for my ear, which is basically headphones. There's feedback, and I move my hands around a lot. I learned don't do that because somebody will think you're making satanic signs. But they were really good shows with Stars or Souls. They're back on my channel now. So
cool.
la la la. What do we got here? That I'll do next time. Sorry. Ooh. Sorry. Oh, there's a guy here named Greg who writes. He puts a video in and he says, Chris Hadfield, the astronaut, when he's singing and playing guitar on the ISS, is a space to Earth musical collaboration. So where is the time delay? How does he sync up his duet with the singer on the ground? There should be a two-way delay like we usually see. Yep. Another really smart person who saw something and said, wait, what's going on with that? Yeah,
it was perfect. I think it was with Bare Naked Ladies and some choir. Yeah, it was perfect. It was a Canadian production. And the sync up absolutely was, he might as well have been in the room, basically. So
we've got a message here from Scandinavia, and I will hesitate to pronounce the last name of Hans Tornqvist. That sounded actually like I did a good job. I'm sure I didn't. He writes, great show with you and Mark. Congratulations on the new upcoming radio show. It'll be great to watch. And he hopes that Rob Skiba will not doubt the flat earth thing too much. And he says, don't worry, the Bible is true and God's words are trustworthy. Best regards, and God bless Hans. And he says, if you or anybody in the flat earth community needs a pair of eyes from the northern hemisphere, hemiplane, just send me an email and I'll gladly help in any way I can. I live in Scandinavia, Sweden, on the west coast, in Sweden's second city, Gothenburg, DS. So Hans Tornqvist. I like saying that. Thank you for writing.
Remember that hard rock song by Frode Loken?
Oh, yes, exactly.
Sorry, I think he was from Norway, though. Crap, was that Norway or Sweden? Norway. That was from Norway. Up there.
These others, too much, can't get to it all.
You sure?
It was something I wanted to, let me look. I'm going to look back at
Q&A. While she's looking, real quick, gold star for anybody that emails me and tells me which, because I only did this once, it was a clue or it was the end of one of my shows. It was at the very end. Tell me which episode I actually said send cookies to, and then I put my Boulder address, because I keep getting these packages that go to Boulder and they get rerouted and go back to Seattle, and I can't. I've got to put a thing over the top of that.
You could just listen to all your episodes.
Well, no, because it's not audio. I just put it in text, so I can't just. I have to actually watch it. So anyone can figure out where it is. If it's the end of a clue or if it's the end of a Strange World episode, will you please let me know? Because I can't, because a couple of these postage things I had to pay for because they were too big. So when they were routed, I had to.
So nice that people send you things, though.
You've seen the stuff.
I'm surprised you're not blowing up like a balloon with all those cookies.
I donate some of the cookies to church groups.
That's nice.
Because I can't eat them all. You know what would happen? It would be unpleasant.
It wouldn't be pretty.
Oh, Patricia! Oh, good to see you. Where's my turkey leg?
Exactly.
Real quick though, while you're looking up stuff, real quick. While we were doing the show, a brand new Flat Earth player just entered the field. His name, and I don't know if it's against or for yet, but it just came out an hour ago. It's already got 2,000 hits. It's because he's got 220,000 followers.
Oh, okay.
His name is Stomedy, Stomedy. Proof that the Earth is flat. NASA has been lying to you. I haven't watched it yet.
That is so good. Somebody with a lot of followers.
It happens. So I'm gonna do my standard cut and paste on him and see what happens. I don't know.
I'll check the video out, and I always put, you and I both, when we find new videos with new people, pro or con, we always say
pro or con,
the same thing. Like, hey, glad you're exposing your followers to the flat Earth. If it's kind of a con video, and then if it's pro, I'll listen to the video and make some kind of comment, just encouraging people to do it.
And it's short. It's only 2 minutes and 20 seconds, and it's scoring 180 to 40. pro.
That's great.
But yeah, you don't know what that means. If he's got that many followers, he could be going against it. They're going, "Yay, you hate flat Earth."
That's true.
Doesn't matter.
But by the description that you read, it sounds like it's pro.
Well,
and I don't mean to say that I feel like I'm the Flat Earth Welcoming Committee, because who am I? I mean, whatever. I'm just another flat earther. But I just thought it was a nice thing to do, to make comments on people's videos, positive comments on people's videos.
By the way,
because I love when people do it for me. And I don't mind comments on my videos as well, where people are saying that they don't believe in the flat Earth, or that they have a question about something the guest said, or they don't believe something a guest said. That's fine too. Just don't degrade other people.
Exactly.
Using profanity and putting people down or calling people morons. Those comments go right in the bin.
I don't compliment you a lot because, well, one, you don't deserve it, and two, I don't like you much as a person. But the interview you did with what's his name, Marty Leeds.
Marty Leeds.
That was really he did a really, really great presentation. And
He's
a good
good
interview.
Public speaker. And Sasha, Orphan Red, has seen him live in Canada. Speaking of Canada, which we always seem to do.
Blame Canada. It's not a real country anyway. Yep. Didn't you know that was from the South Park the movie? Part of the greatest year in films, 1999. South Park the movie, which was a musical disguised as a movie. But their song, Blame Canada, my God, Trey Parker's a musical genius. He does this song, and it was nominated for an Oscar. But not only was it nominated for an Oscar, do you know who sung it during the Oscars?
No.
Robin Williams.
Oh, wow.
I know. Can you imagine Trey Parker's head when he was like at the Oscars watching Robin Williams sing your song as it's up for an Academy Award? It didn't win, but it's like a South Park song.
Be just like if George Clooney went on, I don't know, something like Saturday Night Live and held up a copy of this book.
You mean this book?
You would be enthralled.
I would be enthralled. I would be enthralled. By the way, it's being translated into Spanish, I guess.
That's cool.
Some person from South America just contacted me.
And Orphan Red has done French.
She did the first part of the French thing. It's already been released in the channel, and she's going to be doing more, hopefully. Cross my fingers. Good. Sasha, you know what we need, right?
She's busy. She's got school. She's got lots of other stuff to do. Her own channel.
She's busy being sparkly, basically.
Yeah, well, it's a full-time job, and someone's got to do it.
Yeah. By the way, did you get a letter from our daughter this week?
Our daughter, you mean who? Are you showing us a letter?
No. I was just wondering.
Well, for those who know our daughter, we'll speak of it no more.
Insert uncomfortable silence here. I'm sorry. What else you got before we?
don't really have a daughter, but for those who know what we're talking about, it's an inside joke.
It's part of the secret show. Our daughter.
Exactly. And if you know, you know, and if you don't, you don't, which is fine.
16-year-old girl from what used to be the Soviet bloc.
Ridgeview writes, when you do the conference in April, it's not a conference. I'm just doing a local Houston/Texas meetup of flat earthers. Can you do it with this internet casting so we can be a part of it who live so far away? That's interesting. Can I do?
Oh, you mean like meet up at a bar and then put people on FaceTime in the middle of the table?
I guess I could try anyway.
Why not?
I need somebody with me who knows how to do that.
It's a digital community. Well, no, I mean, you just set up FaceTime, set up a Skype connection with when you're there.
Just bring my computer and do it there.
Yeah, and just put a little stand on it.
What a great idea.
Yeah.
Thank you very much, Ridgeview. Why didn't I think of that myself? Actually, I probably would have got around to it, but I haven't even started planning it yet. Although I've said April, I've set a goal. I'll do it in April.
April's in 2 days, 3 days?
Yeah. Oh, yikes.
Just saying.
And we've got the Flat Earth Network kicking off sometime.
The Flat Earth Network's apparently going to be kicking off, hopefully in April. We'll see. Where you'll be seeing Patricia and I every day.
No, just Monday through Thursday for 3 hours each day.
Well,
and for those who are wondering about it, that's what it's going to be. It's a different platform that is not YouTube, but we will air the show live Monday through Thursday for 3 hours a day.
Yeah.
And we're not sure what time, but we will. And then I'll still do my own channel and probably do a show on Friday with an interview with a flat earther or whatever. And the show that we do together will be called The Flat Earth Show, and it will be interviews with people. It will be subject matter experts talking with us. You and I talking, the Q&A sort of
Mailbag,
thing,
Q&A,
email. And
yeah.
that kind of, it's just taking Flat Earth to a different platform so that people who never go to YouTube, and really, trust me, there are some, believe it or not, who like podcasts, they can see it via a podcast. So there you go.
Plus, if you want your flat Earth fix every day.
Yeah, there you go. No One's Flower writes, I love Stars Are Souls. Great shows. It was so good to see them again. Glad you re-uploaded. I'm so happy again. Thanks to Trolley for doing that. Let's see. Golden Coin 100 writes, the hammer is going to come down soon, and I hope you don't get caught up in the middle of it. Lawyers can be pricey. Be forewarned. A case is being created every time you and Mark speak. All right.
But that's yeah, right? That's a good thing.
That's somebody saying they're going to sue us for something.
Sue us?
I don't know.
I don't see how. I mean, it's not like we're going against the pharmaceutical
can be pricey. A case is being created.
Oh, you know what? Let me take a shot at the pharmaceuticals.
Thanks, Golden Coin.
Before we go. I might as well get into more trouble while we're at it.
Wait, I need to do something. If Golden Coin is trying to say that we are doing something wrong or immoral by talking about Flat Earth with all of our fellow Flat Earthers, I only have one facial expression for that, and that is
Billy Idol sneer.
The sneer. No.
Stay for
thanks.
White wedding.
This is a person watching the show, so hey, thanks for adding to the view count.
But by the way, the pharmaceutical thing, not to end on a down note, for people that still haven't figured out the whole vaccine thing, what I mean is when Patricia and I were being vaccinated, there were maybe 6 vaccines. You got 6. Not a big deal. The side effects seem to be fairly minimal.
I remember the polio. You got a little paper cup with a sugar cube in it and some like drop of something on it.
Yeah. But when you every time you increase more vaccines, you get it takes the number of chances of something going wrong up. So when you go from 6 to what is it now, 20? When you go to 20,
given when children are really young too.
Yeah, there's a high chance. Well, I shouldn't say a high chance, but there's some sort of combination of out there between at least two or more of these 20 drugs that promotes autism, especially in young males. And the problem here is that the pharmaceutical companies that make these 2 drugs, even if they figure it out, they're not going to tell anybody, because whoever these groups are, if they tell somebody, they're going to get just smacked with a class action lawsuit. So that's the dilemma they're right into. Could
somebody sue us for talking about flat Earth like that guy says?
No. Who's going the round Earth industry? Who's going to sue us? That's why I brought up the pharmaceutical thing. You can sue people for that eventually, but only if you're on like a major network or somebody that has, doesn't really matter.
Well, look,
no,
if Robert De Niro couldn't sue somebody and he's incredibly wealthy and powerful, then
you mean how could they get to Robert De Niro? Or
no, I'm saying Robert De Niro was, the Tribeca Film Festival and the Vax film that he pulled from being released, which will eventually come out anyway, and people will see it elsewhere.
Yeah.
If he's unable to, and I don't think he's sued the pharmaceutical industries who created vaccines he believes
because you
gave his son autism, then if he can't do it, who can?
Well, that's just it. You can't sue. That's my point, which is you can't sue anybody if you don't know who it is. If you don't know out of the 20 vaccines that are used, if you don't know the 2 that are involved, who do you go after? And so, which is why the 2, at least, remember, it's at least 2. The 2 or more involved, we'll say they're 2. Those 2 can't come forward either, because the second they come forward, immediately the lawyers' trumpets start up, and then they lose big time. And so we're at this weird impasse where everyone's just waiting for the other shoe to drop, and it's never going to drop. And I feel bad for Robert De Niro, because he had something going there. But again, it's going to come out anyway, sooner or later. Let's end on a happy note. What else we got?
I've got a happy one that just came up. I'm looking on my phone now, and this this actually posted to my YouTube channel. It says "Read live," so I guess I can read it live, which is
Mark,
good to know.
You suck.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You suck, and we're going to sue you. Cool. Bring it on.
Bring it on.
Hi, Patricia. I just want to say thank you for sharing my video. Due to you, I gained 1,000 extra views in a day and about 80 extra subscribers in a day. Wow. Which is a lot for a young Flat Earth channel such as mine. I've changed my name from Flat Earth Christianity to the Flat Earth Movement, as it sounds more bold. And also, thank you for commenting and viewing my videos, Mark Sargent. I emailed you, Mark, about some kind of Flat Earth union to expand this movement. As is my opinion, the Flat Earth movement needs to be taken more into the streets, not just online. Therefore, the Flat Earth Union could organize and take some marches, strikes. Could you email me or call me about this? We could get the whole public on our side. That is from the brand new channel, the Flat Earth Movement, formerly Flat Earth Christianity, and I'm a subscriber of his.
Send me another email. I get so many emails.
Put what in the title? Some little keyword that you'll remember.
Say flat. Just put in Flat Earth Movement.
That's not funny. I wanted something amusing.
Oh, something funny? Fine. Banana hammock. There you go.
Of course, you come up with that.
I stole that from Scrubs.
Yeah.
What a funny show. John C. McGinley is just amazing.
Yes.
Yeah.
Says he's thinking of doing on the streets Flat Earth interviews to see how many people believe where he lives in Minneapolis. Speaking of taking it to the streets,
groups are forming. It's spreading, it's resonating, and it's wonderful. I still enjoy every day. I love looking at all the new stuff that's out there, and it's so exciting.
What do you think about protests and strikes
that include vandalism and
you're all for it? No, like on a serious note.
No. Spreading the word is better than anything right now, because you got to burn it into people's heads that it's actually happening, and then the rest will come naturally.
Okay, what about, to me, if everyone, I live in Houston, so I could get a bunch of people with signs. We could make signs here in my apartment with markers, free our flat earth, and flat earth is the truth, and et cetera, all these different sayings that people have all over online. Google NASA lies, et cetera. And we went there to NASA. What would happen would be we would just be told to go away.
It's inefficient nowadays. Where the future is.
Online is where it's
digital
at,
media. Go to your Facebook page, tweet it, make it. You don't have to make a YouTube video. Just put a link
bomb as well on a NASA, a nice one, not without profanity, on any kind of NASA pages that you come across.
Yeah, find any
articles. Online articles.
Exactly. In fact, there was a story that just came out 2 seconds ago about some new space thing. Every freaking day, NASA is releasing new stories about space and what they're doing in space and what's out there in space. Go to the forums, just copy and paste something that you've seen from somewhere else, or a link. If you can't do links, just post, the Earth is flat. Just throw something in there and let the fireworks begin. That's how it's been spreading so far, and that's how it's going to keep going. Do that. Don't start printing up signs and doing the Occupy Wall Street thing. That
didn't work.
That didn't work. And this is working. The way it's been going so far is the way it should continue.
That's how I found about Flat Earth. Yeah. I found it online.
Tweet it to your friends. You get a message on your phone, hey, the Earth's flat. You get enough of those. The person sees that enough times, which is why, remember, we talked about the mainstream media. First time is happenstance. Second time is coincidence. Third time is enemy action. You get people that see this stupid thing show up on their phones enough, they'll be like, why do people keep telling me the Earth is freaking flat? Eventually they get it.
Well, it's just like people on the dance floor, and there's a video out about that. It wasn't the dance floor; it was an outdoor concert event. One crazy person starts dancing who looks like a complete and utter fool, and then another person kind of joins in, and then another person, and then everyone just rushes and starts dancing, and then it is normal and fun. Not that I'm saying that this is fun, but yeah, there's aspects of Flat Earth, the community part, that is fun. Yeah, just do whatever you want. If you want to do protests, yeah, of course. I hope they don't end up in violence, because that would not look good in the eyes of the regular people who don't know anything about Flat Earth. If Flat Earthers went somewhere and broke windows, it's just going to not look good for us.
Agreed.
So anyway, well, that concludes another exciting episode. We do want to send best wishes out to David Weiss, who has a small tooth problem going on now. Otherwise, he would have joined us today to talk a little bit about Max Egan. He is a fan of Max Egan and is going to join yourself and Jaron and others, possibly on the Globebusters channel.
Rub some dirt on it, David. It'll be fine.
Anyway, so he's hopefully doing well, doing better anyway, and that kind of thing. So thanks to all who wrote questions. I want to say hello to Stock Jockey, and there's a bunch of other people whose questions I can't get to. And I know that that in my heart, I wanted to get to them. Yep. And we will do it all again and do it even better next Monday on The Secret Show here on Flat Earth and Other Hot Potatoes. I do want to let you know that I've got Odd TV on tomorrow
Ooh.
I believe it's tomorrow at 5 p.m. Central Time. That would be 3 p.m. Pacific and 6 p.m. Eastern. And then the following week, perhaps on a Wednesday, Paul Sandu is going to be my guest. So that's. Any last words for you, Mr. Sargent?
Thank you for a wonderful episode 80. And I don't know, enjoyed it. Stay flat, although she's got hers she's got to say too.
Stay flat's good. How about keep it flat?
There you go.
I can't see what you just held up.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
It's the,
Talk.
It's the Alex Ford picture of the clown, of the astronaut clown.
It's absolutely perfect. And on that note, keep it flat.